No idea the condition that we're in, the psychoneurosis that we suffer. We suffer terrible, terrible blight. We don't know who we are. We use European names, and we just are comfortable with our condition. We really don't know who we are. We have no idea. We're captive. And we absolutely comfortable with this situation.
I guess you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode, because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama, and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
You got to pray to God and tell God your rent due. Any God that didn't know your rent was due ain't God.
Some people, they feel like you almost have to sell your soul to get fame, or is it just hard work, or is it luck, is it consequence, is it?
No, most of us in sold our soul. We just called it something else.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was horn. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Fade that, nigga. Shit. Bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog needs slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What? You got to have vision.
Limousine, and every time I'm seen, I got to be clean.
Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. All right. I gotta put myself on wax for tomorrow. I didn't do my Wednesday show and I ain't been able to come on, so I'm gonna do this short little show just to get it out there, and to give my prediction. I've been pretty hot this year. I did go 1-1 last weekend, and so I want to put a few things out there. And again, I am Big Pontiac, if you ever watch this. So, but I want to get this out there, and this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start here. So if you haven't heard, Commanders suffer huge injury blow as star players ruled out of the eve of the championship. here we go. It says the Commanders be without starting defensive tackle Darren Payne for their NFC Championship showdown with the Eagles. News of the injury came in a huge blow on Saturday, 24 hours ahead of the game, after he's initially listed as questionable. He had not practiced all week, was hoping to be healthy enough to play in the game. But that has not proved a viable option. In his absence, rookie Zan Jet inherited a significant role. Okay. Commanders face the Eagles for their first championship, so he's going to be out. And I wanted to go over a little bit of breakdown and look at some sets. I know I'm going to get hit by the NFL for this, but I don't really care. Just some sets and stuff yeah, right here. Just going to consider these sets. And okay, here we're going to go back. This right here is something. Let me blow it up. This is something that this set here, this is what they're going to be seeing all night. This is their base set. And again, they run it. It's really, if you look at it, these is the only two linemen, is these two. These are both linebackers. And really, he's just a big safety that can cover. But this is what they're going to be facing. Now, the Bills quarterback is not as quite as shifty, but as an effective runner, he gets the job done. So as we see how they're attacking, they're threatening blitz, and he's passing the ball. He's passing the ball. And as we see how they're breaking down in coverage, see here, and again, he didn't blitz. They blitzed him. This is 32, so he's shooting this gap. So really, I guess I couldn't see him. So really, they're hitting him with 4. Dropping everybody else, but hitting him with 4. And again, they blitzed. He stayed back, but these two blitzed. So they're hitting him with 5. They're hitting him with 5. And again, this is basically zone, because if you look at, he's staying in this zone. And you put the tight end out on the sideline as a safety valve for the first down. Well, it wasn't the first down, but he gained at least 5. All right, on that breakdown. And that was to a back. Sorry, I didn't show. But he hit the swing man. Again, let's look at how the Chiefs are trying to attack. Again, look at all the people on the line because of his threat to run. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the line. Technically, he's playing tough cover. But if you look at these, they're basically in a zone. So as we run the film, steps up. And again, look how deep of cross, because this is a zone. And the problem when you run zones is, again, we've got him matched up there, but he was in a zone position. Again, this is a zone. See, he's deep. He's here. See? And you can run curls. You can run deep crosses. And that's what we see here. We see a deep cross. That's what we see here, a deep cross. Again, look at the way they're pressing. Press coverage here. Can I get rid of that? We got press coverage here, but then look at the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we see 7 on the line, and unless any of these drop, it is, and this again, this is close yardage, 3rd and 1. So in the Bills situation, the Bills got a quarterback that can run just as well. Got a running back that can run as powerful, but again, 7 in the box. 7 in a box, anticipating. And really, if you look at this is the trips look. Even though it's tight, it's a tight trips. Fakes the handoff, runs the bootleg. Now, this is something, this is going to be open all night. It's something they can't really deal with. They can't see this is their idea. And again, their power here. So the handoff, they're looking for the first down run to be here. All right. So they easily got tricked, by the fake handoff. Everybody gave up. You already see him leaning inside. With the Bills, I think the Bills are even more powerful than this line. And the Bills won't be able to stop this. And then again, I think they could have ran power with the Bills quarterback. They could have ran power out here, and I think been very effective. I think very effective if they would have ran this out of power. Again, they could have just straight handoff, but out of power right here. But again, look how easily, look at the end. All right. He is supposed to be in contain. Both ends is really supposed to be contained. All right. Nothing should get outside of you, but you already see he's looking inside because of the handoff. He's anticipating here in this push. And look at this. He's out of bounds here. He's too far inside. And look at all the blocking. The blocking has pushed everybody this way. Now, the quarterback for the Bills, I mean, he would be a little stronger, not as fast, but a little stronger coming out of that. And I don't see how they're going to stop that kind of thing. I don't see how they were going to stop that kind of thing. They're going to be vulnerable to the run by the Bills all night. And let me look at this play, because I think this play is another play. All right. Now, this play is a give and tell, because every time they put Henry in motion, Lamar runs the ball. So this should have been an easy play to stop, yet they struggle with it. Henry's not a threat, and almost every time they throw the ball. Here, look, because of some of the passing, look at what we got. Drop back here. They're trying to 1, 2, 3, 4. They're trying to attack it with 4 because they don't expect him to run. But again, look how he's holding all them and how they're not reacting. See, again, power. So the Bills are going to be able to utilize this with Cook and the Bills quarterback all day. All day. That's going to be hard to stop. They're not going to, they don't defend against that type of run. And you can see where they're out schemed. That was another part. They were kind of out schemed. And they're not, I mean, they're not going to, and you got that big quarterback. Whoops. He's a more power force as an individual runner. He ain't tricking you, but he's like Steve Young, can run you over. So let's see where I can get it from the beginning. All right, let's see if I can get this closer. Oh, shit, it kicked me out. Gosh darn it. Okay. They give me a commercial. I just want to show one more set. Show this set. Okay. Go backwards and they give me another damn commercial. Now, when they power run, there, look at how down the white shirts are and how the red shirts are cut off. Look at that. Look at all the red shirts and how downfield the white shirts are. And I think Buffalo has a better line. Now, is the back as good as this back? They're not. He's not quite as good. He's faster, but he's not as powerful. But I say where where the back Cook lacks power, the Bills quarterback is going to give you that power from the quarterback position. He's going to be a hard tackle. And I think this is where I can show the. All right. I think the Bills have an overall better defense. I think they have a better defense. Now, again, we're spread twins. We're in trips, but we're actually in twins. And so we're going to get really a twins look on both sides. Now, again, man up here. He's following the motion, man. Rush in, linebacker, rush in linebacker. We got 5 blocking. All right. Kelsey's inside. These linebackers, they're almost a zone look kind of in here. Like if Kelsey, you see, they're almost going to zone him. All right. And this is how they attack this look. So again, and remember in the championship game Monday, we had the trips look like out here. And what's vulnerable to this is picks. They can call them illegal sometimes, but a pick is always vulnerable in this position when they're here. And that's another aspect of really how they could fix a play very easily. Because I've already said everybody wear earbuds, everybody. And so if they make the agreement and they tell them what to do, which I think they do, just like the old electric football where you put everybody in position and you buzz it. Well, this is they tell them what to do. So they tell them to put themselves in a position where they can get picked. All right. That's an easy way to get picked, to get somebody open. Okay. But this is how they attack it. Inside hand, a post. Yeah, they hit them with a post. Which that's going to be open. If they give them that formation, that's going to be open all day. They're not going to be able to stop that. They're not, as well as they play, they're not going to be able to stop that. The Bills, that's going to be open all day. That's going to be impossible for them to stop. Okay. Now this time, they're attacking. They're going to blitz. They're heavy on the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now look how deep he is. Look how deep he is. That's a mistake. You're giving up. What is he giving up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's almost giving up 12 yards, which is stupid. And then when we talk about how you scheme to fix a game, you tell him what position to get into. I mean, what can he really cover? What can he really cover? So really, we have the 3-on-2 look out here. These two block. It's going to take him a minute to come up. But that's not how they hit it. Cross. Hit the back crosser. That's going to be open. That's going to be open all day too. So I see a couple. King Kane, what's happening? Commanders was interested me because they played in Super Bowl 25. Bills and Commanders both 2-6 seeds. That's a good point. Thank you for joining, King Kane.
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
Jamar 3224. Thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
Nicole B, the Revolt. Hello to you.
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
And Joey, how you doing tonight?
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
Yeah, I agree, King Kane. That Commanders and Bills would be. It's it's two things that were conquered. The Commanders were the conquerors, and the Bills, well, the Buffaloes got killed. Buffalo Bill, and it's a play on the cowboy Civil War veteran scout, showman, Buffalo Bill. Now the other thing I want to say is Stephen A. Smith brought up a very, very interesting point. He called it Mahone fatigue. Mahone fatigue. Now, everyone knows that there's a lot of attention on the NFL because of bad officiating. Again, the script, and really what people are telling them is the script is bad. That's what people are telling them. Your script is bad. Oh, here we go. There we go. I mean, that's what the NFL is going to have to take heed to. Because how often do you see big time wrestling, whatever it's called? How often do you see somebody like, we didn't like the script? We didn't like the script. How often do you see in wrestling, do you see that? Now, basketball's been really fighting with it because that 3-point shit is old. People are tired of seeing, the basket manipulation. See, before basket manipulation, when you looked at a mid-range game, that was such a thing. And so some shots they would manipulate, but they needed to do it less. They needed to do it less. When they manipulated, when there was a mid-range game, they ain't have to manipulate the shots as often. As I said, the 70s, you can say what you want about basketball, but I don't think there was more of an efficient play than in the 70s. I mean, it was truly like all 10 was truly a threat. And it really wasn't until Magic came by with Bird where they really changed it from all that isolation basketball, which is very efficient. It was pretty much whoever got the ball was going to score. I mean, they became that efficient. But I'm sorry, I'm into basketball. But anyway, what Stephen A. Smith said was Mahone fatigue. Mahone fatigue. And I thought that was interesting. That's because that's how he put it. He's like, I mean, how many people out there are suffering from Mahone fatigue, which is right. Because remember when they did it to Brady, they was breaking it up with Brady 20 years. What, he was in 9 and 20 years, almost like Magic. 9 and 11 years. Yeah, almost like Bill Russell. No, but Magic was in what? He lost 3 championships, I think. So, but Mahone fatigue. That's good. So how much is that going to play a part? How much is that going to play? I mean, people really are business-wise. Oh, thank you. But business-wise, like some people are saying is that the league pushing Taylor Swift. And let's think about it. Taylor Swift can go to the Super Bowl, Chiefs win or lose. I guarantee if the Chiefs lose, she'll still be at the Super Bowl. It's the biggest event of the year. So even if Mahomes don't go, she'll be there. And there's probably agreement if the Chiefs lose, she's still going to be at the Super Bowl. And I don't disagree with you saying that the NFL likes the publicity of her being at the games and to see who she's sitting by next. Because you notice they pushed Mahomes' ugly wife ass out the way. She don't even look like she up in the box. She's in the box somewhere, but she ain't been in a box on TV. And that's one ugly chick he married anyway. But to each his own. He ain't. I think his dad, as a younger man, was a more handsome man than the son. The son looked too much like the mama, but that's another story. Oh. I was just going over this film, but I think that might be a thing. I really think that might be a possibility. I think Mahomes' fatigue could be a real possibility. And so I'm putting on wax the Bills. I don't know. You got to have an upset sometime. And we already know I'm going with the Eagles. And so I say Bills Eagles in the Super Bowl. Now, as I said before, like if we do get that looking out, we'll find out. I think the Chiefs might win, but I don't know. I think this idea of Mahomes fatigue might be a tell. So, hey Benji, thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Rich, thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
So I know I'm a little behind you guys. So that's what I got. I've got the Bills winning tomorrow. I really didn't put a score to it. But I think that's the key. What Stephen A. Smith said, I think, is the key to tomorrow. I think, as I said, they can use Taylor Swift win or lose. They could use her win or lose because she could be at the Super Bowl regardless. And more likely, she will be the Super Bowl regardless. Because thinking about it like this, and this is definitely, we'll see it be a fact. Kelsey gonna be at the Super Bowl, win or lose. If Kelsey and them lose, he's still gonna be at the Super Bowl. Because I think all the players get tickets. I think all the players get tickets. It's only 2,000-3,000 players. I think all the players get tickets, but Kelsey's, him and his brother will definitely be at the game, which more than likely means Taylor Swift will be at the game. Because they're going to be there win or lose. Kelsey wins, okay, of course we're going to see her at the Super Bowl. But even if he loses, you'll still see them at the Super Bowl. So looking at it that way, they're not going to really lose by the Bills winning. They're not really losing. They gonna get her regardless. She gonna be there regardless if her man wins or not or whatever he is. So, oh, El Dragon, Amaroon Khan, and the Calm. Thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that's to me while I'm picking the Bills. That's to me while I'm picking the Bills. Now, I tell you, the more I watch this Commanders film, I like the Commanders. I like the coordinator. Their coordinator comes up with some very because you got a quarterback that's really light. He's a really light cat, but he puts him in such good schemes. Well, he don't really take no hard shots. Oh, where am I at? Oh, excuse me. Okay. I mean, you got to love the scheme. When I get this going, I'll start breaking it down. But I mean, his scheme is outstanding. I was looking at this stuff earlier. I was like, whoa. Like, man, he puts him in perfect positions. I guess I'm going to break down. All right, here we go. Now, this is, I'll say if they got an Achilles heel, it's definitely on defense. Detroit scored, it's definitely on defense. Now, we're pretty much looking at zone. And see, they're tight, but we're pretty much looking at a zone. Rushing 4, but look how far the splits are. You know, and again, we've got 5 here attacking. We got the tight ends, so we got the trips on this side, and we got twins on this side. Backs empty. This is how they're facing it. Now, again, there's always holes when you play in the zone because, again, he's going to start getting back. They're going to get depth, and this is how they got attacked. Again, they're dropping, only rushing 4, and you got 5 blocking 4. But look how many are in this. Look how they're attacking this. And again, crossing patterns, curls, a deep curl crossing combo is going to be open against this, especially with 5 receivers. You see him, and he missed, but he was there. That was open, but he was there. He missed. But you see, that's how they're attacking it. That's going to be their means to attack it, and the Eagles ain't going to miss that. Now, watch the Commanders. The Commanders, look at what we're seeing. See, this is when I talked about this the other night, and I know they hit me for showing, but when I talked about this film, this was the adjustment he made, was put it into 46 defense. This is really, I've said this before, this is what Glenn did, this is the 46 defense. One really linebacker. These are safeties, or cover guy and safety. Again, the tight end. But this is how they attack this. And watch this. Watch the situation they put him in. Quick throw. I mean, that kind of play is such a confidence builder and a first down out of it. I mean, that kind of play is that's how you break your guy in. That's how you get your guy's confidence going. So it's a great play. It's a great play. Researcher 2022.
You can't get too close to Michael. You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
Thank you. Daniel is who Bryce was supposed to be. Well, he's a bigger dude. He's a bigger dude too. He's a little bigger guy. I know they're trying to make Mahomes the next Tom Brady. Well, yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, Bill Russell. Do you think Bill Russell was on purpose? No, he was on purpose. It wasn't no accident that he won 9 titles. He was allowed to win 9 titles. See, again, he hits Detroit with another short pass. Needed short yardage. I mean, they make it so easy. They make it so easy. Right here, right here, right here. They're four. They've backed off. Two linebackers. Safety is on the line because the safety is with the tight end. See, they've already backed off. But watch how he attacks it. I mean, he attacks it so easy. He puts his young quarterback in a great position. He got a blitz. Good. You blitz, I'll run right behind you. Did you guys catch that? You blitz, and my man's gonna, I forget what they call when you half block somebody. Show. See, picked him up, released him. So that makes easy football for your young quarterback. And that's the problem is what they rely too much on with young dudes is trying to make them throw downfield instead of giving them a lot of this. And that's the biggest mistake the Bears have ever made. They've tried to make all their quarterbacks. I did not see one coordinator for Chicago that built to his players' skill set instead of just putting them in the design of the offensive coordinator, his scheme. You know, it's like those are the worst kind of coaches that just try to put a person in a scheme instead of looking at his team and say, how can I put my people in the best position? That is something that you don't see very often. Like, how can I put my people in the best position? And write a scheme to that. Build that on what you already have. Put your talent and build, scheme and learn and grow with your scheme into the talent you have. And again, it's like this tackle looks like it's very suspect that he missed this tackle. I mean, look at this. Don't really look like he want to tackle him. Look how far he is. And look there. I mean, is it straight pursuit? I think he's going to go down there and instead of pursuing directly at him, like all he got to do is stop and hit here because he ain't running full speed. Look how he just ran downfield. He didn't pursue him at all. He just ran downfield. When he was slowed down back here, he had an angle where boom, go right here. So now the Commanders defense. Now, look at this set. And I kind of went over the sets the other day. Again, they're attacking them with the twins. Got the fullback here, technically. In Detroit, again, rush in 5. They're sending 5. So they got 5 back? 6 back. And watch how the situation they set him in. Okay, this is where the sneak comes. Yeah, that was a stupid play. That was a stupid play. Catch another one. That was a very stupid play. So the Commanders are definitely going to be vulnerable on the field. Now, I guess the questions would be, is Hurst 100% healthy? I think that's going to be, his mobility. He hasn't been great this year. He's been good on their little run, but not great. Yeah. I didn't get to really break down anything that the Bills did good, so I'm sorry about that. Commercials. All right. Oh, yeah, Allen. Okay, I'm old man. All right. Now, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. They got a 5-man front. Kind of, I would say, almost slant a little bit to the right. It's a little power. They're trying to get more power on this side, anticipating. Again, we've got tight end, flankers. So, flankers, backs. They got the one-man set. And as you can see, there, even though it's what, 12? What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 yards. Look at how they're hitting it. They're still, look how far back they still are. They're still respecting the run. And we got Cook. And again, look at the downfield blocking already. Look at that. They're in their chests already. He cuts it back. But the room is created by, look at this push. Look, already they're winning already. Look at the push off the ball. All of them is deep into them. See that? And look here, still. Look, he's contained. A little hold there, but he's also contained. But look at that push there, which gives him the opportunity to use his quickness. And look, he even got a block here. He's got contained. He's here. He's all here. Going inside. Easy cutback. He's too slow. His angle is off for him to stop him. See? And, you know, what? That's not a great effort either. Good hustle. He didn't give up on the play. I want to get one. Oh, okay. I wanted to get one of Allen's touchdowns, but yeah, it's the same play. I'm sorry. Smug's not doing what I need. All right. Now, this is going to give the Chiefs problems all day. Because he is such a threat with his size that this is going to be tough. And they got a quick, well, they put the bigger back in there this time. They took Cook out. They got the other bigger back. And again, it's a tight set. Tight end flanker. Flanker's in tight. Got the wide receiver out. You've got the flanker here. And this, you know, this is, now look at how they're trying to attack it. You got two up the middle. Boom, boom. This is how they're trying to attack it. Again, they think it's coming over here. You really look at what they're stacking. Again, they can come up, but they're really thinking it's going to come here. Okay, we got a hold right there. But look at that. Another kind of cutback. Went inside that block there, cut inside. Look at that. Look at all the white shirts out of position. Out of position. Kansas City's going to suffer with that too. They're not going to be able to stop that. So, hey, Lorenzo, how's it? Did y'all get snow in Mississippi?
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
Thank you for joining. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Quarterback that lose the Super Bowl in their first appearance don't ever come back since Steve McNair. So Eagles might be cooked. Quarterbacks that lose the Super Bowl in their first appearance don't ever come back since Steve McNair. So Eagles might be cooked. That's a good point. And it is a good story singing, you know, Eagles or Commanders and Bills. That I could see that story too. I can see that story too. Or even the Commanders and the Chiefs. That's, you know, that's the country. That's how the country was done. Commanders and the Chiefs. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna be in trouble. I'm still going with the Eagles. I think they're gonna handle them easy. As the Bills-Chiefs game, Josh Allen could pick the Chiefs apart with his passing. Chiefs are riddled with injuries. Yeah, I agree. The answer to the snow question, hell yeah. Oh shit, y'all got 7 inches? Oh, I know y'all ain't been nowhere for a couple days. Damn, y'all got, man, we ain't had that much here all winter. Now it's cold up in this motherfucker. Shit, I had to bust the car hard out. And it is super cold out here, up here. It's gonna get warmer, but shit, we had like, I think all week, we had that minus shit. I mean, even right now, it's 10, but we ain't got no snow. And I don't give a fuck about the cold. It can be cold in the motherfucker. I really don't care. I can wrap up when I gotta get gas, but look at our weather next week. I mean, the rest of the day is gonna be 27, but look at this, 38, 45, 29, 46, 50. This jacket weather for us. This jacket weather. Going into February. This is jacket weather for us. This is usually our coldest month. Now, we might get snow this day here because it's going to get a little warmer. I think this is the day they say we might get snow on the 1st. But look at this weather. I mean, this ain't heavy jacket. This is light jacket. This is almost hoodie and vest weather. Just really hoodie and long shirt. That's just hoodie and long shirt weather. So, no snow. We ain't had no snow up here. Which is not odd. I mean, I live near where they ski. I live near a ski hill. Within walking distance, shit up a ski hill. So, we look like Minnesota. Wow. That's odd for y'all. And then y'all ain't got the equipment to move it. But I know the weather down there fluctuates so much that probably didn't stay long. Probably didn't, unless it stayed cold too. Because that's what for it to stay, it got to stay cold. So yeah, it's I love it when the winters is like this, because that's the only part. The only bad part about winter is the driving. That's it. Everything else about winter ain't bad. Cold ain't bad. I mean, when I was sitting there pumping my gas today, I was just thinking that sometimes it's good to feel cold. I mean, sometimes it's really good to feel cold. And so I don't mind it. And up here they got the splash where they jump in the Lake Minnetonka, and they cut a big thing of ice and jump. And then they showed, I mean, it's been cold, but they showed a dude like you have to know how to drive your truck on the ice. Because even though you need about 7 to 10 inches of ice, I think it's 6 or 7 is really you could drive on it. But I safely say you want about 10, 12 inches of ice all everywhere. And you got to know the lake on the parts where you can take it. Because some parts, if a part has a small river coming through it or under it, it ain't going to really freeze as much. So they showed a truck going in. Usually that don't happen until early first freeze. But not midwinter. But again, certain spots don't get as thick as other spots. So what else did I have? Oh, one thing I caught on that's kind of funny is I'm a sneakerhead and I'm a shoe guy. You know that. But if you look at my age, I'll be 64 in June. So I'll be 64 this year in 25. And I still, even though I never personally did it, I'm still old enough to remember shoe shine people. Like I grew up, every barbershop, every barbershop I went to as a boy had a shoe shine people in it. And I mean, it was a thing where, like dudes want to have their sneakers looking good and stuff. Well, the shoes had to be that way. Like when you went out at night, I mean, everything was impeccable. Everything, when you're talking about the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s for melanated people, I mean, everything was impeccable when you went out. Look at some of them pictures of Joe Louis and even Jack Johnson. Everything you figure back then is all damn near tailor-made. And sometimes they shoes be glossing like glass. I mean, it was a pride in that. You had to have your shiny shoes. If you didn't do it. Like when they talk about James Brown, being a shoe, he said that James Brown used to shine shoes in front of the building he later bought. And so normally, it was such a good hustle. Normally, if you're gonna get your hair cut and you waiting in line to get your hair cut, what's a better time than get your shoes shined? And remember in the Malcolm X movie when dude stepped on his shoes, like, yo thanks don't shine my shoes. Remember that? Yo thanks don't shine my shoes, or yo excuse me don't shine my shoes. That's what Malcolm X told dude. And so I bring that up because now with the sneaker cleaner dudes, with all the chemicals and the dudes reconditioned shoes, they the new shoe shine boys. If you think about it, it's the same thing. Now, the way it's done is a lot different. I mean, a lot of soap and cleaning instead of just polish and buffing, but it's the same thing. It's dudes that can make your tennis shoes popping. Now, the morbid news, we are not. Today is my birthday. Is my mama's birthday. Okay. She turned 60. Okay. Well, happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to her. Wow. And it's, talking about age, it's funny with age thing. it's like I look at the pictures, like you wouldn't even think that you look different in your 50s to your 60s. You don't think you look different, but you do. Like I look at when my daughter was born, I was 50. And I'm looking at them pictures when she was a baby and I look so different. And it's funny. I mean, you wouldn't think it looked that much different, but it really does. So, yeah, happy birthday to her. For sure. So my first part of morbid news is this cat. And this is Calvin Jones, former Super Bowl champion at 54. Now, how do you die 50 of carbon monoxide? Body was found by police in the basement of a house north Omaha. Carbon monoxide. Oh, okay. What? That he had been using a generator in his basement? I saw a guy kill his whole family. It was 6 or 7 of them. What? He had you can't be that dumb. He had been using a generator in the basement. Wow. The neighbor called fire by smelling gas coming from a located near. Police arrived at a outlet to confirm to the outlet that the generator was found in the home and there were signs of carbon monoxide poisoning. Wow. He's drafted by the Raiders, Packers. He won the Super Bowl with the Packers in 97. Wow. How didn't he know that was harmful? Like, how don't you know that's harmful? I don't understand that one. I don't understand that one at all. Ooh. Sticky, icky, icky. But that one don't count towards the Super Bowl. That's now it's a football player. That counts towards the championship. Now, this is a sacrifice. And a lot of times in the sacrifice, let's see. So he played, let's see. Well, let's read that again. Okay, he was drafted by the Rams, and we're looking at 94. He later joined the Packers. He played fullback. He played 15 games over 3 seasons. Possible, 45 games. So he played in 15, roughly 45 games. Huh. He was a champion sportsman, leaving to become the state champion sprinter, so he's fast. He had averaged 329 per game. Oh, most a high school player ever. Eventually brought Nebraska to the Orange Bowl. Huh. So running back dies. How is that going to tomorrow's game? I don't know, y'all. That one's got me stumped. That one I'm not. There's a correlation. There's a coordination there, but now I know Zach Hubbard reported on this again. When we see so close to big games, I don't know who this dude is, but I saw Zach do a thing on him that he had passed. Okay, walking out. Okay. Announced Facebook, please, blah, blah, blah. I lost my husband and kids, just lost their father. They don't tell why. Label made with a heavy heart that said to be announced passing, blah, blah, blah. Statement hit, walk it out, and there's energy. And this must be the song. Okay. He was born in 81. Okay, the album included Walking Out. Peaked at number 2. Oh, so it was a hit. The musician suffered a heart attack in 2009. It comes from not exercising, not eating right. Basically, I work hard. Okay. So he was too young. He had a heart attack young. How old was he when he died again? And he had a heart attack? Okay. So, but we only count these for the championship game. Tomorrow night, officially, the countdown begins on how many sacrifice deaths before the Super Bowl. There's always sacrifice deaths before the Super Bowl. I think the highest I counted one year was 23, 24. I know it was 24. If it wasn't 29, I forget. And remember, that was the same year they killed somebody after the game. So the deaths we see when I come on here tomorrow, because I'm definitely coming, Sunday, I'm going to break down the games. But definitely we're going to see deaths leading up to the Super Bowl. I'm going to predict it's going to be at least 20. 20 entertainers, which include all sports people and actors, singers. We're going to start seeing them deaths. And it hasn't let us down yet. It hasn't let us down yet. And I've been actively, because this channel's been on, I guess they said 4 years. And my other channel, I've been following this, so my other channel was up since 14. So they took my other one off in 20, and I guess this one started in 21. So I've been tracking it all 4 years on this channel for sure. And I had tracked it on my other channel. That, start counting the amount of deaths leading up to the Super Bowl. And it's always the same pattern every year. It's like if you pay attention to these championships, there's always deaths. Like this brother died of monoxide. How? Tell me how a person doesn't know you can't run a gasoline generator in the house unless you have the piping to pipe the generator, the smoke out, which most people ain't gonna have that. Now, it'd been smarter if he had, a diesel one on the outside of the house, had it on the outside of the house, run it in. I remember I looked at a house in this area and they said it was, an area where the power got knocked off often. So it had a big generator that could run the whole house. So, Mark, thank you for joining.
You can't get too close to my voice.
Maybe I missed it, but who you going to Super Bowl? Oh, I got the Eagles and the Bills. I got the Eagles and the Bills. But again, we got to see what happens. But that's who I got right now. I got the Eagles and the Bills. And I could lose them both. That's all right. I had a good year. And I could use them both. I could win them both, and I definitely can use them, especially the Bills pick. The Bills pick is the obvious one that doesn't seem as obvious. I really think they're going to now, if they let Jalen win or not, I can't say. But I think they're going to let Jalen win before they let the Bills win. That's my guess. That I don't think they'll let the Commanders beat the Chiefs. Now, because again, if they want a new face in the league and they want Daniels to be like part of that face, that's how they could beat the Chiefs. Because scheme-wise, I would say really the Eagles would be an advantage over defensively. The Eagles' offense against the Chiefs' defense, they definitely gonna have an advantage. Now, so either NFC team is going to be able to attack that Chiefs defense. Either team was going to be able to attack that Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense isn't that strong. So, I would say if you looked at the quarterbacks, I would say Daniels has a better arm than Jalen. He has better touch, I think. And Jalen doesn't have a very strong arm to start with, but Daniels has a better touch. Now, can the Eagles pressure get to him? Two of their top players, Cox or is it Fletcher? Which one is it? Fletcher that's out for the year? Towards Peck? And the Chiefs don't get touched, but I think the Bills will get to him. But it's like when you look at the script, do they want to keep feeding? Because already the idea that they don't get calls. And the other day, I don't think they called holding on the Chiefs. They like the very first game when the Chiefs and Ravens played, they called the dude in the backfield all day. And then you can see on screen, his right tackle jumps. He still lines up too far back, and he jumps almost every play, and they never call it. And that's the people's argument. You calling all these crazy calls, and then people are, no, the rules are, no, the rules. The rules say you have to hit them in the head with your head. Now, if I hit your face mask, they teach you to put your face mask in somebody's chest. Keep your head up, put your face mask in his chest. And that's exactly what we saw. he hit him with his head in his chest. And last time I checked, that ain't a penalty. That is not a penalty. So DJ Unk, sorry to hear about your passing, bro. And so will that be a deciding factor? Check this out. You know, I keep pushing this. And it's on you, but 2,700 on its way to 3,000 an ounce. On its way to 3,000 ounce. So if you got a gold chain and you trade your gold, again, going to a pawn shop, you're not going to get full amount, but you're damn near going to get half of this. How much you got towards ounce. I mean, it's really beneficial. If you're looking to sell gold, it's a good time to sell it. Silver is $31. It's been steady. And again, platinum is not even 1,000. And I said before, they, you know, what was it? Was it the 90s where they had everybody, you know, and it's funny when they had the rappers all wearing platinum and pushing platinum, gold and platinum was about the same price. Platinum ain't moved. They were both about 900 ounce when all the rappers, and then silver took a big surge because you could buy silver, but platinum is shinier. But a lot of people, you know, because the white metal was in style, and that's what platinum is, it's a white metal, was in style. So it's cheaper to buy silver. So you're seeing a lot more silver. But gold has left it. And you know, I'm gonna give a little another advice. So the Macy's by me is closing, all right? And I got, you know, not within, I say within a half-hour drive, I live near 4 other Macy's. So they're closing the one up the street from me, but in a half hour, I can go to 4 other Macy's stores. 1, 2, trying to think. Let me see, Southland. Maybe 3. Am I missing one? I think 3. It's 3 other Macy's stores I can go to since they're closing this one within a half hour. But what I noticed is right after Christmas and right leading up to Christmas, they had the real sales. Now they got a store closed and they got a sign that say up to 50% off. The day before Christmas, some of that shit was 60% off. Cashmere sweaters, nice little, you know, everybody's making the that knit, you know. They're making the tech material stuff, which I think is a copy of the polo kind of feel, but the thicker, you know. And so now most of the stuff is only 25% off. The jewelry, I think, was 60% off. So jewelry was kind of the lick. But so stuff, my point is stuff ain't really for sale. But for investing, something that I've never thought about investing, but I'm going to invest in is perfumes. Because perfumes rarely go on sale. Out of all the things I noticed about shopping at Macy's, is perfume almost never goes on sale. You never get 50% off except maybe once a year at the most. Like right now, none of the perfume is on any sale. Christmas, even Christmas, what they do on Christmas, they try to bring in a bunch of packs. So you buy the cheaper packs than buying the more expensive perfume by itself. You buy the packs with, you know, a little bottle and maybe some deodorant. That kind of stuff does come on sale, but not them bottles. Not them bottles. That Sauvage I got, shit, I think the one bottle, it was on sale and I still had to pay $180 for it on sale. And I think my Christmas gift is $2 something. $2 something. The new Sauvage, the Sauvage 14, I think that was $2 something. So, and in women's the same way. They never really go on sale. So I think cologne's perfume is a great investment because all they're going to do is take all that perfume to another store. It never seems to go bad and it never goes on sale. I'll say this. If Mahomes and the Chiefs represent the AFC, this would be Mahomes' 3rd Super Bowl on Fox. Brady's 3rd Super Bowl on Fox, he lost to the Giants. Yeah, that was odd that they have Eli. And that's going to be Eli's lone push to be in the Hall of Fame is that he won 2 Super Bowls. I don't think Eli was ever all pro. He wasn't, if he was all pro, he wasn't all pro multi-years. Very, very subpar quarterback, whole career, but he beat Brady twice. And again, if you don't think that helmet catch was manipulated, come on. That was them a mocking, really. If you ask me, that was a mocking. Guess who's doing commenting for that game? I don't know. Do tell. Fox? Who is Fox? Is Fox Aikman? Fox Aikman? Yeah, I share that one. I don't know. I don't know who's commentating on Fox. Well, I probably do. I just can't remember right now. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if will they let him right now at this point of his career. Will they let him pass Brady at this point in his career? I don't know. I don't know. Where'd you put it? I'll say this represent blah blah. Okay. But guess okay. They're probably gonna give it to the Commanders because they were gonna change their name back to the Redskins. So if they were to win, they wouldn't change it. That's a good look. I can't say I disagree with that. I can't say I disagree with that thinking. That thinking is sound. And commercially, I do see where commercially that works. Gives them every reason to keep the name. Are they going to rise him his rookie year? I think that's what my question is. You know, what other rookie has come in like Vince Ferragamo? Wasn't he a rookie when he went to the Super Bowl? They haven't let a rookie win the Super Bowl. Now, are they going to let this rookie win the Super Bowl and be MVP? Because I doubt the Bills is going to win. You know, I doubt the Bills are going to win. So, I mean, is that what we're looking at? But that's a good observation. I appreciate that. That is a good and it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. That makes sense. What? Oh, let's see. Jay Jordan Moore was arrested. Oh, okay. Yeah, but Washington was the first franchise to have the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl, so Washington might be the first to win with a rookie. That's a good point. And that is true. That is true. That is true. What did Ryan Clark didn't mention what did he say? Pat Mahomes too light. Didn't mention Doug Williams, and didn't mention Russell Wilson. They got Ryan Clark playing the opposite races, playing a character. Let's see. I saw these. I am not impressed with these Hardings. Here we go. There's a better picture of them. I don't know if I'm impressed with these, y'all. Y'all impressed with these? This is all rubber. No mesh. Now, you know, Kobe started the trend of just a complete rubber shoe, synthetic. But no mesh. And you know, I'll say that my Kobe's, I'm looking at them, they're comfortable in the motherfucker. No doubt. They are super comfortable. But his other pair and this rubber toe, I don't know. It's just a cheapness to it. And they want 160. It's just a cheapness to it. This toe is just a cheapness to it. And I don't know. I know Read My Soul, he rated Anthony Edwards' shoe very high, but I don't know, y'all. I went and looked at them Anthony Edwards shoes, and they cheap. They cheaper than these. I would say these are more expensive. Maybe Read My Soul likes them because of the styling, but far as the quality of the shoe, it's on the cheaper level. Yeah, the shoes are definitely ugly. Yeah. Magic Johnson won the finals as a rookie, and he's with the Commanders. Now that is a great connection. That is a really great connection. That's a great connection. That is a really great connection. Yeah, Magic. And what was the other one? The other one's really good too. They're probably going to give it to Commanders because they're going to change their name, Redskins name. Yeah. And Magic is one that every team he's won with. That's a good point. That is a good point. That is a good point. And yeah, Magic did win as a rookie. I mean, he shouldn't have been the MVP because Jabbar dominated that shit. But as you saw on Showtime, David Stern came up with let him win. And I can see those things playing out. Washington Commanders look like the Twin Towers. Yeah, I mean, look at the name, the Commander. Just the name in general. Oh, and here we go. This is, see, they become anti-player, and they want to hire all these ex-coaches' sons. The ex-coaches' sons was groomed by their dads to be coaches, This is really to replace brothers being coaches, especially ex-players. This is what they're grooming to be ex-coach, to be the coaches. They're grooming these ex-coaches' sons, and that goes back to the Grudens. What is the Rams coach name? Ivars. What is their name? The Rams coach? Ursays. I mean, again, those two families been connected to football almost 70 years. Gruden's daddy was a scout, and I think Ursay's daddy was a coach. So, but that's what they've done to get the players out of Breffen is they brought in all, like Gruden, the coach for the Rams, Gruden had him be an intern. When this dude was just fresh out of college or still in college, he let him intern with him. So this is how far they groom and Schottenheimer, he worked for his daddy. Yeah, definitely nepotism. Definitely nepotism. Twin Towers. Yeah, I put all that down. Try to. That's a good one, though. Ooh, right. And it's like they said, it's the good old boy network. And that's what's supposed to be with the Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule, says you got to hire brothers. That's what I wonder. The Rooney Rule is in effect that according to Trump's new policy, the Rooney Rule would be illegal. However, they're a private business and they don't get any government funds. So will they take away the Rooney Rule? Because a lot of the brothers was be like, man, they wasn't serious about us. They was just bringing us in there, gaslighting us. That's what a lot of the candidates say. They didn't really get a real chance. So this is what they've been doing. I mean, it's serious good old boy network. Oh, shoot. Okay. Erase all this shit. Which I just thought I did, was bringing it back. All right. Where are you coming from? Okay. Here we go. 30 actors who died too soon. Is that what they tried to tell us something? The 30 players about to die. Oh, didn't Golden State look weak today? I mean, they really look weak today. Now we talking about good old boy network. They don't stay fired for long, and they still getting paid by the other team. A lot of time, they got guaranteed money too. If you sign for a number of years, they still on the hook for those number of years. So he's already the defense coordinator for the 49ers. So this is definitely good boy stuff. So this is definitely, and then, he wasn't an ex-player, I don't think. I don't think he was an ex-player either. But they got something against the players being, it's like they don't want, and, it comes down to, they trying to do anything from brothers dominating it, No, is this Dallas Cowboys hire NFL coach to fill defensive coordinator job? Who did they hire? Okay. So the Cowboys hired Matt Eberflus as the next defense coordinator. Wasn't he the Chicago coach? We're waiting to learn whether Brian Schottenheimer will call plays. Didn't he just get hired? According to the Cowboys was hired as the next defense coordinator, a bit of a reunion as Eberflus was with the Cowboys. Wow, for 6 years. All right. He previously served as the Indianapolis coordinator for taking the job. Yeah, he had just got fired. So he got fired. He's hired all over again. It's like my college coach. He was a tight end in high school, but he became more of a defensive coach. Now, what is this? Here's some bullshit. Some bullshit we can use. Facing backlash over firing meteorologists, Allen Media learns important lesson. Take the local out of local TV at your own peril. Handing out pink slip to dozens of beloved small-town market TVs, weathercasts would be ill-advised even the best of times. But to do it right now, unpredictable and dangerous weather disasters across this country, from wilderness to California, tone deaf. So they fired the weatherman, yet Allen did it last week, announced they would be getting rid of trusted local weather anchors. And a cost-saving move, the idea was just to feed forecaster from its Weather Channel hub in Atlanta to the company stations across the country. Said it might move some of local meteorologists to Atlanta, but most of your local forecasters now be handled by someone hundreds or even thousands of miles away. Wow, okay. They're getting backlash over it. Well, it's all about the bread. That's what it's all about. It's all about the bread. Everything they do is... What? Okay, I just got to keep knocking this stuff out, I guess. Shit. Okay. All right. News. TJ Watts confirms if Steelers should move on from Tomlinson. I don't know. The Steelers ain't got their team ain't got a history of just getting rid of coaches. They pretty much stick with them. Unless the game passes them. And you can't say that Tomlinson, that the game has passed him. I say the opposite. He's gotten stronger. I don't know if Wilson is his future, and he's got two good quarterbacks, but I'd still say, in this league, it shows you need a backup quarterback. Whatever the script is, you still need a backup quarterback. Oh, is this for the next game? What is this? NFL set to expand replay rules to include quarterback hits. NFL set to make a major announcement that replay assist in 25. That don't mean that could be next season. Play assist is set to expand into next season. Doesn't help you this season. So next season they're putting it. So this is to tell you they're going to keep giving him bad calls. That's what this article is. They're going to keep giving him bad calls, but we're going to fix it next year. You made a bullshit call that helped Tom Brady right on the fly. So now you're saying you can't, that you can't make a call right now? And they got rid of the pass interference stuff. Well, it's way over there. Get a little smoke going here. Forgot about it. To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, in the center. Get a little smoke going. Sparkler. See if that'll burn for a minute. I ain't gonna let it burn too long. Yeah, I got all these pennies. I stick it in. They say they're gonna give Stephen A. Smith $120 million. Damn. 3 arrests, 3 Argawa gang members in mass deportation push. Nick Taylor, I think it was Nick that did the video where they tried to get into Chicago school ICE and take children, because this is what's going to happen is if they go to these schools and take children, and even if the parents got visa and say, your children are here illegally, the parents will go with them to be deported, even if the parents are here legally. So, was nabbed. Now, the police here in this state say they're not going after people. They said the police say they ain't going to ask people. That's what the police here said. They said they're not messing with them. They are not messing with them. Also, Madison Keys won the Australian Open. Madison Keys wins first Grand Slam title as Australia. All right. American tennis, she's 29. Grand Slam achieving a breakthrough win over number 1, Anna Sabanka, who was vying for what would have been a historic three-peat. The women's singles match, Liver saw Keys win 6-3, 2-6, 7-5. Man, this is her Keys' last and only appearance in the Grand Slam was 8 years ago. Wow. So she had a great comeback. Right on, sister, or whoever you are. Right on. It says Michael Irving bashes Cowboys for not hiring Deion. Deion didn't want that job. Deion did not want that job. Now they're talking about a new landing spot for Russell Wilson. Does that mean they're really gonna get rid of him? And they're sold on Fields? I say keep him. I mean, why not have like he getting bread? He getting big bread. I think he gets what was his contract? 60-something million this year. So somebody gonna have to pay him regardless. He getting paid by 2 teams right now. So I don't see why not just keep him. You need a good backup quarterback. If you want to put that young boy out there, you got a solid good backup. And truth be, here I go spelling. But really, Jim McMahon is a perfect example of a cat that had really got beat up and fell right into that backup role perfectly. And he won a Super Bowl like that, won 2 Super Bowls. So to me, that backup quarterback is not a bad idea. You get to heal, you don't get that beating. And if your time comes, you just got to be ready. I mean, it's also a perfect thing to learn how to be a coach as well. Learn how to be a coordinator. Okay. This is about the homeboy J.J. McCarthy. So what does this say? Vikings sideline during their final game was visibly thinner and to some unrecognizable. There's been widespread that McCarthy losing weight during the recovery process and how it might impact the Vikings' decision. Report that McCarthy had lost 20 pounds from his recovery in the fall. Listed as 219 at the start of camp, McCarthy dropped more than 20 pounds this fall, following a pattern similar with many football players who put strength workouts on hold during rehabilitation process. It's time to gain the weight. Matter of a few months, considering he's building his throwing mechanics from the ground up. Led the Vikings, his appearance. Oh, that ain't no injury. Donald is the one. We don't want Donald back. We do not want Donald back. So, we'll see. Oh, these suck. I had these shoes and these suck. I gave my homeboy my shoes like these. These shoes suck. They're not that comfortable at all. These are the fake, fake 11s. Mine were more like this, but gray. Yeah, I gave my homeboy these. I took these down to Myrtle Beach with me. He came and got them. And they were like new condition. Just not very comfortable to me. See, not very expensive. Good looking shoe though. I mean, I dare say it's a good looking shoe, but not very comfortable. And Jordan 1s is cool, like if you ain't gonna be on your feet for a long time. Damn if you could wear them all day. You a bad motherfucker. You can go to work and wear Jordan 1s all day and your feet not hurt. Because I definitely can't. My dogs be hurting too much. So when I go walking, even at the mall, I have something that's comfortable. The GM that ignored son's advice. Oh, okay, yeah. The Giants had a chance to draft Jaden Daniels. His son, he asked his son, and he asked the general manager, asked his son, who should we get? And his son said, Jalen Daniels. So the Giants fucked up a lot this year. Talking about this was Daniel Jones' team, and they paying him. They hated him so much that they still paying him. Says NFL change is setback for Patrick Mahomes after Aikman left furious. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You know, they know in the script, and the fake get mad. But you know, I'll say this: the NFL did not protect Aikman. They let who knocked Aikman out the first time? One of the Rams players. I want to say one of the Hacksaw Reynolds, maybe. Nah. But he took some shots that I think that's what kind of hurt his career. Transferring too. He got caught in that where he transferred to. So that kind of made him older when he came in the league. But he took some shots where they let him take shots. So I think that was his way of kind of getting back. Because he's gonna get his bread on advertisement. Or Super Bowl money. So I heard Lamonzo Ball's daddy, the Ball daddy, I heard his house got burned down. I didn't get a chance to read the whole article, but that's what I heard, that his house burned down, the daddy's house burned down. Now they're saying they're not letting people go. I mean, that's what Trump was talking about. They want to bring individual contractors in to clean up because it's just, it's a lot of hazardous waste, the way that the materials out there. The way they made the fire resistant materials on some of those houses that they build out there in California. It's a lot of deadly stuff. So these people, they're saying they're not even letting the people go clean their stuff up. I mean, it burned down. There still might be something there you could, find okay. So them people, I don't know. Remember how they said FEMA was putting them little houses up? Are they gonna put little houses up for these people? Now, I heard one person said that they only, for a person that had a $4 million house, they only giving them $800,000. That's a big difference. That's a big asset you lost to try to rebuild. And that's a lot less house. And again, it's location. Did y'all like these? I ain't go get them. I ain't order them either. This is a pretty basic shoe, really. I mean, I guess if you're a big fan, but this is pretty basic. Pretty basic. And I guess you just a big fan of this kind of thing. But this is a very basic shoe. So, not a fan. Not a fan. So, yeah, we got to, tomorrow, I'm going to definitely stick with my Eagles. So, I'm going to go with the Bills, so that's my upset, the Bills. But Eagles could very well go down. I mean, you made great points. Magic, the Redskins' name, and the Twin Towers. But Magic really, his team's never losing. That could be a very big tell. That could be a very big tell. So, I mean, we have to put hats off to you for sure, King Kane, for coming up with that. We have to put hats off to you. And we'll see if it plays out. When I come over here tomorrow night, we'll see if that plays out. Because very well it could. Very well it could play out. So, and I think with the Chiefs game, the calls are going to be tighter. Oh, what's the NFL Times? It on here already? Okay, so now this is funny because sometimes when I look at they try to give you information where you live, and normally I am on Central Time, so I don't know if it's 2:00 Central Time, 5:30 Central Time, or is the game really come on at 1 here? So the Eagles play the first game. And that's a big win for the NFL East to show how strong the NFL East was this year. I mean, it's really strong. So they're the first game. The other game is the night game. And I'm cooking a big thing of chicken wings. We're making a big pot of chili. My brother-in-law might come through. So I'm going to be front and center. Oh, you're welcome, man. That's good stuff, though. I mean, my mind is always open. My mind is always open to things. So those shoes are ugly. Yeah, they are ugly. Plus, Magic Johnson won the finals. Okay, I pushed it way down. Oh. Oh, okay. Let's take it off. Good deal, though. Thank you. But yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, we need everybody's input, you know, and that's why I come on, is try to get everybody's input on how we attack this thing. And, you know, to put money towards this, because that's what it is. And, you know, the parlay betting, like my wife did a parlay bet in their nephew kind of, but it was like a sucky. The one guy didn't even hardly play. The other guy, he only played for injury, but he did it. It was like the running back got enough yards and the receiver, but the other receiver didn't even touch the field. He just needed one catch. Chiefs beat the 49ers second time to get 4 Super Bowls, and Commanders will beat the Bills second time to get 4 Super Bowls. That's a good point. Native teams. That's a real good point. That's a good point. I like that. Very well could be. Native team bowl. And even if the Bills go, that's you know, with the Bills name, that's still kind of a native thing, even though there are no buffaloes in America. America has bison. Buffaloes is in Africa. That's a name. They just, you know, I don't know why that name stuck. Yeah, I don't know why that name stuck at all, because it's not, there's no buffalo in America. It's bison in America. And they killed most of the bison. The bison you see now is a hybrid of a cow and a bison. That's how they reintroduced bison. They mixed them with cows because they had killed literally all of them. And it was to clear the rate, you know, it was to clear out, you know, a food source, clothing source, house source. I mean, they used a lot of things. And, you know, just to shoot the buffaloes, just to take the hide and just shoot them for sport. I mean, that's what they did. People paid train rides to just see buffalo and had their rifles and shoot buffaloes as they just ride in the train, because they knew where buffaloes would be, just randomly killing them until they pretty much eradicated them. And, you know, if I've been here as an animal or even a tree over 400 years, I should own that property. If a buffalo has had where they went for the winters, a feeding season, and feeding ranges for millions of years, they should own that. But that ain't how humans look at it. You know, humans don't look at it. Oh, that's why you think they won't ever give the Bills the Super Bowl, because of no buffaloes in U.S. Well, that's part of it. That's part of it. They don't unless the city has a disaster, they tend not to like new teams winning it. The NBA is kind of almost like that too. They tend not to like new teams winning. That's why Denver was such a big deal. They rarely let that happen. They like, if you've won it, the odds seem to be in the favor of the team that won it compared to the team that didn't. And again, Detroit's luck is this bad again. Not saying that the Commanders are a bad team. I love their play calling, as I've said. Daniels is hard not to like. He's almost like a little more controlled Lamar, you know, closer, but he has a better touch. He doesn't have Michael Vick can throw easy with a flick 80 yards like it ain't shit. He ain't really got that kind of cannon. And that Michael Vick shit was such bullshit, but look how he got rewarded. That's what didn't make sense about him either. You in jail and you ain't working out? You know, you in prison and you ain't working out? And that was the thing that got me about Mike Tyson too. They've you know, when there was a Wild World of Sports, they filmed this one dude's Ron Lyle. They showed Ron Lyle fight in prison a couple times. Because again, you know, I played in a bunch of tournaments in prison. You know, we had to pay a fee and we got to go in there and play a tournament, be in the prison all day. They have food you can buy and shit, you know, or you can take your own food up in there. You know, they look through your shit to make sure you ain't trying to take no files in there, no guns, but you know, be in the prison all day. You know, in a basketball tournament. So they've been had tournaments and jail. So to me, a prison would be a perfect place for a dude to work out. I mean, to really be dedicated and work out. Now I know Tyson, but I'm saying Tyson was in there all that time, and you telling me he can't get in shape and fight another fight, and that he wouldn't have got in greater shape being in that prison. Now, again, they're not going to get no live gate, but if they would have put that in pay-per-view, people would have paid for it, and they didn't do it, which is surprising. Because they kind of did to Tyson kind of a little opposite of what happened to Ali. You know, they did, like Ali had a long run as far as, you know, what they did to Ali is that they took years away for people to catch up. His skills erodes, the younger cat's skills get better. And then the same thing like Tyson, almost didn't fight for 4 years. And then you give him two tune-out fights. One, you knock him out in the second, third round. The other one that, you know, you did fight 15 rounds. And then you got to go fight this dude who's been fighting all 4 years, you know. But Tyson, it should have been, why didn't he fight? That's not understandable. And the same with Michael Vick, not that he fought, but why didn't he stay in shape? He was only in prison 8-9 months. And by the time he went to camp and they put him in again, you could see where it was rust there. And you telling me it ain't dudes like when I played receiver and I was a playground director. You know how many dudes I had coming through the park all the time throwing to me? Because I knew I couldn't just depend on one young boy to throw to me. I didn't want to hurt the dude's arm. I was there for 8 hours. I constantly had young boys coming throwing me passes. I was catching probably 1,000 balls a day by 5 or 6 quarterbacks. Now I've had them rotate and they come in because they like working out with me. So he's in prison and you telling me dudes ain't going to want to work out with you? Nah, it don't work like that. But, you know, Michael Vick got his bread back. You know, his first contract with Philly was $100 million that he had lost. So he got his bread back. But again, it was shaming. It was definitely a shaming. Look at this. I was talking about Ali and look at this shit. I was just talking about him and look what's on my, they erased it. Damn. Oh, no, it's down here. Did they take it away? There he is. Just talking about Ali and look what pops up. You don't think they listening? You don't think they listening? Phone's the same way. Now the remote, we did the voice on the remote. That motherfucker comes on all the time. That motherfucker's like, you can tell my remote it's from the hood. Whoever programmed it is from the hood. You know, that motherfucker be like, what did you say? You know, be like all in your business and shit. Can you repeat that? That's his favorite thing. Can you repeat that? Like, what? What? They say CNN is getting rid of a bunch of people. CNN to lay off hundreds of employees' networks and makes it more digital. Wow. Will lay off hundreds of employees to slim down to TV production and build around a more digital-focused strategy. Wow. All these big places. Oh. So why you think they won't ever give the bills? Oh. I feel like they're going to reward Barkley with a Super Bowl win because all biz, what's happening?
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
They're going to reward Barkley with a Super Bowl win because they didn't allow him to win the rushing record. Yeah, that is a sacrifice. That is a sacrifice. That is a sacrifice, no doubt. I've kind of thought that too. I've kind of that has crossed my mind as well. That has crossed my mind. They'll let him because that's how they'll do it. There's like, well, what do you want, a Super Bowl or you want the record? And most people will take the Super Bowl over the record. Because he's just like, he didn't even get a number 2 spot. The number 2 spot is still AP. AP is Adrian Peterson is still the number 2 rusher of all time. He didn't even get above AP. He just got in the 2,000-yard club. I think he was even under Chris Johnson. I think he's right behind Barry Sanders. Terrell Davis is in there too somewhere. It's only 5 or 6 that have done it. And of course, OJ was the first to do it. And OJ did it, what, in 14 games? Shit, OJ last game in the snow needed 230 yards. I watched that game. And that's why, like I said, when I break down these sports, I've been watching football since 4 or 5 years old. I've watched every Super Bowl. And as I've said many times before, I grew up where you could have two favorite teams because there was an AFL and an NFL. And again, they didn't merge until what, 70. So I was 9 years old when they merged. Matter of fact, when they merged, I had went to the summer they merged, I had went to the Football Hall of Fame. And that's all the football, like the little book you get for going in that motherfucker. That's what I was talking about, was the merger and switching the Colts to the AFC. But I went to the Football Hall of Fame the first time at 9 years old. I've been there 4 times. Now, I haven't been there since the 70s, but I've been there 4 times as a child. I've watched every Super Bowl. I was telling my sons, the only Super Bowl that I didn't watch fully is one of the Dallas Super Bowls. That must have been 96 because the Columbias came out for the first time. And I bought both my sons. Like my one son was a toddler, so he was around 1. I bought him a pair. I bought my other son a pair that was probably, they're 6 years apart. So he was 6 or 7, and I bought myself a pair. And I had the socks to match. The shit was cold. And anyway, when I played in them, I went to block a dude's shot, and somebody undercut my legs. I think it was the dude's shot I was trying to block's brother. And I landed, and when I landed, I said, this is going to hurt. So I go back home to watch the end of the Super Bowl because I watched the fourth quarter, I think. When I got back home, the Super Bowl was still on. I wasn't in the hospital very long, but they put a cast on my hand. No, I watched the Super Bowl in the hospital. That's what it was. I had to watch it in the hospital. And they put the cast. But I was trying to sit there and eat, and my hand kept doing like this. I was like, my hand is placed down, and my hand is doing like this because it was broke. My wife's like, you better go get that fixed, So that's the only one I didn't watch fully. There was one other one that the TV was on, but I was busy doing something else. But it was on. When the Bills missed that field goal, I stopped doing what I was doing, and we started watching the game. And I saw a dude miss the kick because I thought Jim Kelly had done it. He drove down perfectly, and again missing the kick on purpose because the Bills had him. The Bills definitely had him. Rewatch that drive that Jim Kelly puts together. That is a sweet drive that he puts together to get him in scoring range. But again, they didn't get him super close to get a touchdown. But Dan Snyder is furious the Commanders are finally succeeding. Well, if you wasn't an asshole, they wouldn't have put you out. Daniel's more calmer, definitely. I thought it would be hard to script games. Are you going to be on tomorrow? Yeah, I'm definitely going to be on tomorrow. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be on tomorrow. Tomorrow is break the games down. This is what's interesting, how you have to look at it. Most big time schools that are Division I, SEC, Big 10, Pac-10 when it was booming, Big 12, all these schools was already scripting games. I mean, and everyone knows. Now, do the freshmen that don't play have to know? I would say probably not. Probably not. Do you tell them coming in? But if they play, they're going to definitely know. I think in the NFL, everybody wears earbuds. I'm pretty convinced. And I've showed it more and more. You can look back at over. I've showed where baseball, they all wear earplugs in baseball. Not earplugs, but headphones. Little chip in their ear, little headphones in their ear. And they're told what to do. You can see, like Judge dropped that ball in the World Series again. Don't catch it. I mean, that's all you got to say. It's in your ear, and they'll tell you catch it or drop it or throw it away. Catch it, drop it, or throw it away. And that's all. It's people, like I've said, it's egghead men in the rooms. So at every stadium, it's an egghead man in the room, and they're bright. I mean, it is probably so sophisticated as they looking at the script, and they got somebody probably playing the video game, and then they're looking at the betting lines. I'm telling you, the egghead men in the room, it's a bunch of them. And I'm telling you, they now with the betting too, and the parlays, and every play you can bet on. I mean, they like this. This turns these geniuses on that they can outthink and make their people money because it's all about money. It ain't about popularity. It's about what is generating the most money. I mean, the Super Bowl in itself is already sold. Like Joe Frazier would get mad at Ali. He's like, the fight's already sold out. Why are you talking shit about me? Super Bowl's already sold out. And the Super Bowl is the one sport where you can't really buy tickets. You buy tickets from the corporations to start selling them, but technically it's a game that tickets are not open to the public. So it's already sold out. There's teams that buy the Super Bowl packs, years in advance. So, I made a video of that. Yeah, Lamar definitely. Homie, did I say what's happening? I'm sorry.
You can't get too close to Michael. It's a foul.
Yeah, Lamar definitely threw the ball on the ground. But again, when he played the Texans and they needed a first down, he turns his back. He doesn't lunge forward. This mug doesn't go in an obvious hole. He goes to his left and turns backwards and tries to run with the ball in front of him here, tries to cross the first down. That's the same Lamar that did that. So we can't forget, we can't forget that kind of thing. So he showed us over and over again. He'll play the script. And like you was saying, he don't mind winning MVP. He that kind of cat. Okay, you just let me win MVP so I can ask for more bread. Get the notoriety, but no championship. And he's turning into the lovable loser like James Harden. I think it's certain players that have earbuds, but the rest are left in the dark, so to speak, to make it seem more spontaneous. I don't know. I don't know about that. I think I disagree. I definitely disagree with that because my father said this about boxing a long time ago. They ain't gonna let niggas determine who win or lose. So they are not gonna let these jokers depend on who win or lose. Like look at the Minnesota Miracle. That's obvious was orchestrated. It was happening. That was orchestrated as happening. And I've said before, I've showed other videos, and again, those was all on that Minnesota Miracle was on my old channel. But look, it's a common play. I've caught from my old channel. I've caught where the defensive person will block his own person to help the offensive player. And I'm sorry that's I've got a little bit of it, but that's was on my old channel. And the Minnesota Miracle was the very same thing. He made sure to hit his own man to stop his own what is this? McLemore, I think is his name. He got traded to somebody else. Is he with the Redskins now? Is that dude with the Redskins, McLemore, that played with the Saints? Isn't he with the Redskins now? He hits his own man, so the other person can get away. So Diggs can get away. So how does that happen without earplugs? And the other fake thing I always talk about is, the TV tackle, the movie tackle. When the dude is just too far away and they dive. And I showed Jim Brown where they let Jim Brown score a touchdown. And again, you see the movie tackle. Dude's no way you're going to get him, but then he decides to dive. So to me, that McLemore shows that all of them got earbuds. In baseball, they definitely all got it. But football, I think too. And the decisions are, again, if you just hear, think about it like this. If you just hear silence in your helmet, yeah, you're going to do your own thing. You just play. You dig? But if you're told, hold. And again, they're taught to hold. If you watch DBs now, they are definitely taught to hold. You see, I mean, the holding is too, the defensive holding is too prevalent. And you see the techniques they're using to grab the jersey. One dude said, whatever color the offense is wearing, he wear those color gloves to try to hold the holding. So they're taught that type of holding. They practice it, because how often do they call it? I mean, again, so it's going to be embarrassing for regular players to watch the scripted games from home. I don't think so. Because they're all paid. So they ain't mad. It just ain't their times. They're all paid. And non-disclosures. And these mugs, the way they get killed. I mean, it's the NFL has their own investigative unit too. They have their own like FBI. That book, the one dude wrote about the scripted NFL from the 70s. I should grab it and show it to you guys. But it's think about it. The mafia is heavy into football. Gamblers are heavy into football. Now they got rid of all the gambling addict owners, but that's how it was started. It was started mostly with gambling addict owners. And you got to think who controls this game. The mafia's got their hand in it. Vegas got their hand in it. And you don't think these people will come get you for fucking with their money? I mean, again, the Super Bowl is the biggest event of the year. Nothing even comes close to it. Now, do they let people come and talk about it? Yeah, they do. Again, that's controlled opposition. Larry Johnson is the prime example, controlled opposition. Because it makes him feel, discredited, but again, allowed. I mean, look at Shaq. Look at all the times that Shaq talks about games being fixed. Shaq has even come out and talked about the game they beat Sacramento was fixed. Shaq always says that. And look, he's not suffering. He's not suffering. So they do let some of them talk about it. And the tuck rule is the main thing. Anybody that watches the tuck rule, and they did the mocking of the 30 for 30. Again, it's a fumble. And I remember the next day, maybe you guys didn't watch the game the day after the tuck rule, because I was a Raiders fan. Like I said, AFC, NFC, my AFC team or AFL team was the Raiders. And the Raiders had the game. I'm sitting there like, ooh, we got this motherfucker. And then when Woodson hit him, I mean, I'm watching that shit like, oh, this shit is over. They gonna run out the clock because they didn't have no timeouts left. They was gonna run out the clock and the game was gonna be over. He fumbled. Woodson got him perfect, blasted him. And what did they call? They come back about 2 days later and they say Roger Goodell is the one that came up with the tuck rule. And if you do your research, that's who came up with it. It was Roger Goodell. Something that had never been called before. Then they tried to show, well, look at this. This is the play where it was called before. Again, when they did, what did they say? The Mandela effect. They came up with where they showed it one other time called. But that's what Roger Goodell had. It was in there. And maybe, again, they could have Mandela affected it in, but it was that vague rule that had never been used. And really what it was supposed to be is if a player goes here and then he brings it back here and gathers himself and then get blasted, that's kind of what it was like. If you was doing like this, if you was kind of, trying to the rule is if you're trying to gather it in, not passing, if you're trying to gather the ball in as a quarterback and you get blasted, while like say the way the rule's set up is if say you was just holding it like this, like if you brought it back into your body and you got blasted and fumbled, now do you see how confusing it is? Do you see how confusing it is? That's basically what they're telling you. That a quarterback can gather the ball back in, and if he gathers the ball back in, he can't fumble. How isn't he down? How isn't it a fumble? But that shows you how fixed that they are. Now that showed you they fixed it live. That they fixed it live. So you can't believe Shaq is definitely a Mason. He's definitely a sellout. Oh, no doubt about that. First they tried to do it with the refs, then said, fuck it, we're going to let some of the players talk. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why any level you interview everybody, but nobody interviews the refs. Why isn't that heat put on the refs? That to me makes no sense. You interview everybody else. You got a million talking heads. Sometimes they interview the owners. But you interview all the coaches, the players, not all the coaches, but you interview everybody. Everybody is in front of a camera, and you telling me the refs can't be face the nation. Why did you make that call? To me, that makes no sense. They should definitely be interviewed after the game. And it's only 4 of them. Why did you make that call? Tell us what you saw. Tell us your point of view. Why don't they give them that kind of scrutiny? I don't understand that. Oh, pivoting a little bit. Did you guys watch the women's 3-on-3 full court? That looks fun. That really looks fun because you're on basically a junior high court. That's what they did. I think it's 72 feet compared to 93 feet. Because I think like I don't know if y'all noticed, junior high courts tend to be smaller. I don't know if y'all remember that. They're not as big as high school courts. Some, but I'll just say, let's say this. Trying to think when Mattawan was built. So before high schools was building the multiple courts, okay? So I can't remember. I'm trying to think when Mattawan was built, maybe 03, 04. But the way they built when it was just single junior highs and the high school didn't have 4 or 5 courts. That came, I think, around 2003, 2004, where the high schools, like my daughter's high school has 5 full courts. They have the main court, and then they have 5 other courts. So maybe they have 6 courts. So they got the court where they play games, and they have at least 4 or 5 other courts where they hold tournaments and stuff. But before that was built, the junior highs were built with shorter courts, and that's what they play 3-on-3 in. You know, we used to play I used to play. We play full court 1-on-1. Even in my high school days, we played full court 1-on-1. Like my friend Big O played at Western Michigan, and I would kill him. We would play. Because he could dunk and shit, but he couldn't guard me. And it's like we're in the police academy, and where we went to the police academy, we had like a lunch period, and then we had it was like where we could exercise or do police tactics, and a lot of times they just come in there and exercise. So me and him used to hoop all the time. I'd light his ass up. No, I couldn't stop him from dunking, but I could stay in front of him, and he really wasn't strong enough to. I mean, he was a big guy, about 6'7", but or 6, closer to 6'6". I mean, really built, but I mean, I'm no easy to push over. I think in the police academy, I was still like 235. And back then I was probably still like 6'1" with shoes, 6'2", easy. So we used to battle. But we would play full court 1-on-1, go at it. Or we would go play 3-on-3. You have a couple other people. Really good way to get in shape. And it's funny, when I coach, I used to have, we used to play a 3-point game where the game was nothing but threes. Because I would call it out. Like if we was down, I would call it out, 3-point game. And that's everybody would start lining up like they do now, which is very ironic. You see a lot of people running that, but it was like I would call 3-point game, and that's all everybody shot. That's the shots they would look for, and they would look for each other. They all had spots. I had Ryan, and Ryan, every time he shoot, he'd yell out, "Count it." In a couple games, that little joker got hot. Every time he shoot, he'd go, "Count it." Now, did you guys ever hoop with people? They would go, "Kobe," but my boy used to always say Bernard, like Bernard King. He'd go up on you and say, "Bernard." And the dudes would be like, "Too late." But my thing was got him. I'd shoot like, got him. Because I had a great mid-range game. That was my thing. Got him. Get by somebody, I'm like, got him. So I had all them old dudes saying that shit. Or they used to say in your face or in your eye. That was the oldest one in the 60s. In your eye. I'm going to lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was skeptical about Unrivaled because the 3-on-3 messed it up for me. But once understood it, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I watched the game. I watched the game last night at Chili's. I watched the game at Chili's. And I was like, man, this can't, because I was looking at it, I was like, this can't be a regulation course. So I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay, that's a good kind of a good twist. And it doesn't it keeps the game open. Because really regular 3-on-3 is you just basically beating somebody 1-on-1. That's really what it is. I mean, you can do a little screen roll, but basically you got to beat your man. If you beat your man all day, I played in Mackers where I'd go and run 7-8 points straight on the same dude. And then of course, if they try to double team me, you can always kick it out. I had one dude roast us. I mean, we bigged him, but it's like he killed Rob because they would penetrate so far, and then the other dude would pick for Ryan, and Ryan was lighting Rob up. He was hitting them deep threes from the corner on the Macker. He was lighting Ryan up. Now, we had a good squad. I think we ended up winning it that year, but Rob was getting lit up by this dude. I ain't know him at the time. Then later, I played with him, and he didn't shoot well. I remember we played the tournament. He did okay. He did okay too, but he didn't play like he lit Rob up. But we played in the tournament, the 3-on-3 tournament. They didn't even give us even any trophies. And we got in a fight. I played with Jeff. I can't think of the good shooter's name. Ryan. His name was Ryan. And they brought another dude I didn't know. And that dude was a little out of control. He was like the third player anyway. But me, Jeff, and Ryan was killing him. Ryan, he didn't play great. And this was like New Year's Day. So this must have been, man, what year was that? This must have been was Keelan born? Like 2000, because I think I lived on the east side. So probably 2000, 2001, we played a Christmas 3-on-3 and we dominated. I remember I killed this one dude and he's like, oh, he can do that. I'm like, I'm about to do that a bunch on you. He's like, oh, I forgot to tell y'all guys, he can do that. That's what, every time I kill him, that's what he was saying. Oh yeah, he can do that. But yeah, I enjoyed the 3-on-3. Did y'all hear that Maverick Carter is trying to get an alternate to the NBA, a competitor to the NBA? In reality, it's a bunch of NBA-like leagues, now. I mean, every level is pay, so, every level is pay. So, I think what they're pushing for is ownership. That's the biggest thing they're pushing for, is because, okay, you're going to pay me 60 a year, but you making almost $1 billion a year. You making 800 million a year. And what you pay us all together, there's a lot more bread for you than it is for us. So we'll see if it'll happen. Because during the boycott, that was one reason why they came back. Because the players was like, we're going to start like what Magic and them did. Like, people forget when they called off the 1980 Olympics, Magic took his summer league team, his summer team, traveling team, and he took Isaiah and the college all-stars. And, Isaiah really got better. I watched Isaiah go from, not to say he couldn't play, but he spent a summer playing against NBA players going into his rookie year. Now, Mark Aguirre and Magic, they were all close. I think I met Isaiah in 8th grade at Dr. Tucker's camp in Lansing, which some shirts say it was some years it was Magic camp. But a lot of the shirts I had said Dr. Tucker, but I had a couple Magics, but it was their camp. And so, Magic met Isaiah when probably Isaiah was in 7th grade. Again, Magic knew about Mark Aguirre, because Mark Aguirre and Magic are like trying to think. I want to say Aguirre was a year behind Magic, because he's older, because Magic's 2 years ahead of me, and Mark Aguirre is only 1 year. So Mark Aguirre is only 1 year older than me and Isaiah. So I met Isaiah first, 8th grade. Yeah, because Mark was only a freshman, but Mark had played varsity on freshman. When me and Isaiah played 8th grade basketball, we was going in 9th. Mark Aguirre was playing high school already. And Magic dominated in 9th grade. I think he made it to the regional finals and lost. But they traveled all summer and played against each other. Jay Vincent, Jay was there. I mean, a bunch of, Gerving. I saw one of my guys, Mark Loader, pinned Gerving shot and was talking shit. Like, Gerving did a move and Kevin went up and pinned it. And Kevin, again, was a very solid dude, probably 6'5", good 220, 230. I mean, really built. And he talked shit to Gerving. And I think Gerving, before halftime, had like 50 on him. I played another tournament game where Isaiah came in and scored 50 after halftime. Scored 50 and didn't hog the ball. But just was so quick and had everything working and scored 50 and a half. Coming in the game late. And basketball is the kind of sport where you play against older dudes, you get better. It's no doubt. That's why Bronny, it's just a matter of him playing. You see, he just scored 31. He had a nasty dunk highlight they show. And y'all trip off what they said Obama. Obama was messing with Jennifer Aniston. Isn't that some shit, some gossip bullshit? And you notice the pictures of Michelle is uglier and uglier, looking more like Michael. I end up being more successful in football because I didn't get any solid offers. I didn't get any solid offers in basketball. Small colleges was kind of, but again, my coach didn't give us our letters. He historically wouldn't give his players the letters. He said it would go to your head. And so now I tell you, I didn't make all conference football. I didn't make all city or all conference in football. I made all city and all conference in basketball. And then again, I didn't sign my letter of intent until January. So early career wise, I was a better football player. Early young man, I was it turned like this. I was such a good athlete, even though I didn't want to play football in college. I kind of really was hoping I was done with it. Because the last high school game I played, I never thought I'd play football again. I had grown to hate the coach so much, and just the whole culture of it. I just never thought I'd play again. And so early, I was able to go to college, played a year or two of semi-pro. But later in my life, when I moved back to Michigan at 24, I played semi-pro basketball for 20 years. And when you have winter leagues, it's different levels of winter leagues. And I played at the top level of winter league every year. When we go to state, I was always playing against the best people. When I played the Macker, it's always a top Macker too. I always played against the top. So later life, my skill from playing high school basketball helped me be a good semi-pro basketball player and play for 20 years. I really didn't quit. I started playing in that winter league. I played in that one winter league 15 years, I think. Outdoors, indoors, where we played. Like our summer league was one of the best pro-am leagues around. When the city was sponsoring it, they was giving us bread to play. I mean, it was very, very, even though we played outside, we had the most structured league. And when we had tournaments, I mean, you talk about the park being packed. And you talking about high level of hooping, I mean, it was like everybody wanted to hoop in our summer league. So, it's just, football did pave the way because I played intramural in college. We won it. First year I played, we won it. Second year I played, we won it. The third year, we played the other football team, we blew them out. And somebody stole, one of our coaches was keeping score. And this dumbass had left a jacket with a lot of money in it. And somebody took his money. So he kicked both teams out the league. So, looking more and more like himself. Yeah, Michael is. I'm telling you, there's some rough pictures they showed of that cat. So, it was a great way, and that's the sad thing about being so old. Like, it's like Lifetime does have a side court. Usually Lifetime has 2 courts going. Older dudes can play on 1 court. And just haven't played. I'm going to go try to play pickleball on Monday. Still my breath is still kind of not quite built up, but I'm going to see, because pickleball is not, it's a lot of back and forth, and, we'll see how I do. I'm not playing against top competition. I figured like a month after, or it'd be 4 weeks, almost 4 weeks from heart surgery, I got to build up a little bit. So I'm not going to play great, and I miss playing basketball. I mean, I do. I really miss that. I miss the feeling of like, I really like the confidence. Like I never got stopped by anybody hooping. Never. Now I ain't saying people didn't score on me, but I never, like in all my life, I met one dude that stayed with me on 3-on-3. That was it. Of all those years of hooping, it was only one person I ran into that really, really stayed with me. He made it really hard to score. And usually like this dude was about 6'3.5", 6'4", so a little taller than me, but it took me a lot to get my moves off on him. And like when I got him, it was like I had to really work for getting him. I mean, he made me work. And that was only one dude I could think of that really stayed with me. When we would travel out of town, my teammates would be so nervous playing around old dude, new players and shit. Like we would kill the league. Then we go start traveling and dudes would, especially my Battle Creek friends, then they wouldn't even hoop, man. They would be so nervous and shit. And I'd go on, scoring 10, 12 in a row. And went to the free throw line, brought us back. Like, I don't know if y'all know, it's an old dude. You can look up Terry Durod. We had him beat. The whole game they was up and I scored like 12 straight points. I scored, I think 3 times on threes, but getting fouled, not shooting jumpers. And we are up by fucking 3. So they needed 3 to beat us. And damn if this goofy ass Carl Bradley knocked Terry Durod down and Terry Durod hit the 3. So he gave him a free throw and we lost by 4. Where if he would have even not fouled him, all Terry would have did is tied the game up. That's all he would have did. We would went into overtime. But no, Carl knocks this nigga down. And Terry Durod was cool. His story was so cool. It was like Western Michigan would be packed for the regionals. I mean, packed. It'd be about 15,000 people in there. And all the Detroit people. I think he went to Detroit. Maybe he went to Jalen Rose School. I can't remember. I'd have to look up where Terry went to school. And Terry would come down. Terry would had a headband around his neck. He would come down and Terry would get up like he's shooting. The crowd would go, doo. And if he missed, they would go, ooh. And then every time he would shoot, they would go, doo. And that motherfucker hit, they would go, rah. Now the place would be going crazy. I mean, every time he come down, they would go, doo. That nigga would hit, rah. I mean, the crowd just lit up. My brother passed, so... rest in power, brother. Rest in power. And the beautiful thing about having such a long career in sports, and I ref for 20 years too, and coached. I coached for 6 years, 7 years. I mean, the relationships you build. It's like the dudes I coached in my 20s are now in their 40s, early 50s. You know, dudes I was only 10 years older than. So these dudes is in their 50s, the first group of dudes I coached. Like one dude I coached, his son is playing, I think, quarterback at Wayne State University. I was about probably only 10 years older than him. So he's in his 50s, you know, and like you get such long relationships. Like I'm friends with more of my college people than my high school people. You know, my college dudes and I only go back 40 years. Some of my high school and grade school people I've known, you know, practically all my life. But it seems like my college relationships are stronger, you know? And that's what sports does. I mean, you get exposed to so many people. And I remember, what's his name? Bill Cartwright's daughter, Bill Lambier's daughter. Bill Lambier used to coach AAU when his daughter played. I told the story many times about I almost beat Tony Kukoc's ass, chasing me down the court. I was about to whip his ass. But then, you know, he apologized, and every time that him and his wife would see me, his wife would be like, I got him under control. And his wife used to have one of them real Gucci bags back then. But I mean, you meet Stacey King. I ref Stacey King's children, you know, get to talking to these people because we had a guy that played on that Oklahoma team with him. Damon. And Damon's like, it's fucked up what happens to young people. Damon is a prime example of like just stupid decisions. So Damon takes a fucking quarter pound of weed to high school. Damon is like All-American as a junior. Damon's 6'7". So his senior year, he takes a pound of weed to school because he was selling joints. I mean, I used to do that when I was in high school. I always sold joints. I would take a big bag of joints every day and sell the joints for $1. So this nigga sells somebody a joint. The dude gets caught at school with the weed and tells on Damon. They look in his locker. This nigga's got a pound of weed in his locker. So he didn't get to play basketball his senior year. Now, he had already signed to go to Oklahoma, and then he got hit. He got hit with a double because he almost didn't play for 2 years because he didn't get to play his senior year, and his sophomore year, he got hit with Prop 48. So it was like 2 years he didn't play. And I think the year he didn't play is when Oklahoma won was it the championship? Didn't Oklahoma win one? And Tisdale and win one? They won one in Kansas? Didn't Tisdale win the championship? Or maybe they made it to the Final Four, but he didn't play on that team. He didn't play on the team that went to the Final Four. I think I don't know if Oklahoma won it. Maybe they didn't win it, but I think they went to the Final Four. Yeah, they lost to Kansas. They lost to Kansas and Danny Matty. Yeah, that's right. They lost to Kansas and Danny Matty. And that's another person. You know, that's another person that I ran across was Danny when he was high school, but his dad had played for the Carolina Cougars. Ed Manning, and Ed is a motherfucker. I played pickup ball with him every weekends. He'd bring Danny in the gym, and Ed was like a want to foul you. I think Ed was at least 6'8". And so them some people I ran into. And then like what happened to Ed is Danny was going to Greensboro, Grimsley, maybe it was called. And then Larry Brown and Ed played pro ball together. So Larry Brown got the job in Kansas. He let Ed be assistant coach. Look it up. He let Ed be assistant coach. So Danny's senior year, because Danny had won it in Greensboro in North Carolina. He had won their class like his sophomore and junior year. His senior year, he moved to Kansas. And he won state in Kansas. And then went right into Kansas to play. And they beat Tisdale. Even though they was in the same conference, they beat Tisdale and them for the championship. Damon was on that team, but he didn't get to play because of Prop 48. Damon, I'm good, 6'7", kind of a 2-3. Didn't get to play because of Prop 48. And Damon was in the Philippines and said, fuck it, and just lived down there. Didn't get his passport renewed or nothing. He was just playing pro ball down there and said, fuck it. He let all his visa. He's just like, fuck it. This nigga's just loving Panama. And just like for years said, fuck his passport, fuck his visa. They ain't bothering about hooping. So he was just living like in the country, kind of illegally, but they never bothered him because he hooped. But I mean, you just meet so many people. And that's the positive part of sports. It's all the people you get exposed to. That's why I've said before, when I saw Ice Cube a couple of weeks ago, I ain't no fan person. I was like, wave Daddy May. I'm glad you're in this motherfucker. And just keep pushing. It's like I'm used to seeing motherfuckers. Like I said, I went to school with Larry Jordan. So, I met Michael, in the 80s? Yeah, at Carolina. Used to go down there in Carolina hoop. Larry, you know, Michael tell Larry when the gym was open, and we ride down to Chapel Hill and go hoop. You can look it up. Larry went to A&T. He's got a big ass head. I must say, Larry Jordan's head is like bigger than Michael's head. He got a big head, but you're talking about a leaper. And it's like really sad that Larry played in the 6'4" and under league, but Larry, he's one of the few dudes, what Larry, about 5'10", that he had a 40+ vertical. Easy. And I mean, really, he had the same mid-range game as his brother, same take you to the hoop, and I mean, could really jump. Like, he was one of the few dudes that, you know, I'm going to tip a dunk in, he might tip it in, he might beat me to tip it in. Like, he was that explosive, like, just could jump straight up. He was a very explosive player. Shit, we play pickleball, we start pressing people. And his quickness and my quickness, we was fucking with people. We was pressing people just playing pickup. And we were both so quick where we pressing the shit out of people. They was having trouble bringing it up. Larry's a hell of a player. Our intramural team, I mean, we had a great intramural team with Larry on the team. So, whoa. So, I mean, you just meet all these people. Well, I ain't seen the motherfucker since the 80s. Yeah, they played here. I ran into him one time at the Slam when they played here. Michael played here against the Timberwolves. And that was the last time I saw Larry. I heard from him shit about 13 years ago. Yeah, I think it was when my daughter was born. He called. So I ain't like I talk to the motherfucker every day. I ain't saying that. And I was surprised he called me, 13 years ago now. I was surprised. So, but you just meet people, you just get exposed to people, which is a great thing. I mean, that's a great thing that sports, that sports can do. And like right now, if you have children and you're doing any kind of travel with them, all the people you go to. Like, when I went to this baton thing with my daughter, it was thousands of participants and teams and parents. And so, when you get involved and especially you get involved in traveling, you just run across a lot of people. And basketball, because there's so many games, like if you have a daughter, I mean, she plays all summer AAU, like where the boys might only play 3 games, 4 if they go to the championship, girls will probably play 5 or 6 if they make the championship because there was so many girl teams. It was way more girl teams. And that was really like the person that put on the tournament. I can't think of the old Wisconsin dude, but him and Rob, because my one friend died. He got killed in a car crash. So he gave the ref thing to the guy in Wisconsin and Rob. And so, they was getting the contracts to, go to these tournaments. So, and the girls always was the moneymaker. The girls was always how we really got paid. I mean, the boys would be done around noon or so. The girls playing until 5, 6, 7 at night. Oh, and I ran into Larry. What is it called? Forest Lake, Chicago? Or is it, because we got, maybe it's Forest Lake, Minnesota, and Lake Forest, Illinois? And he had his nephews with him. He was him and a bodyguard and the 2 boys. And Larry was there at the tournament with the 2 boys. Well, I forgot when I saw him in Chicago. And this is right, they're at home. They're playing in locals AAU. So you just, you meet so many people. And that's the great thing about sports, that you don't get in just a lot of regular life. It's those type of relationships. And again, if you're a parent that got children that's playing, you see how it is and the people you run into. Especially if you play in high school and now, the summer leagues, it's like you can play all year round. It's like now the way they've got it set up is, you play AAU all summer. And then if you don't play football, there is leagues in the fall that your guys could play basketball in the fall. Trying to think, what was the other one? How did they do it? Like I did a league that it was just all the football players from all these different schools. They had a league and it was in the spring. That's what it was. It was an all football in the spring that I did that league. So what parents did is, and all the schools did is, if dudes played football, they had about 10 different schools. And if you played football and wanted to stay in shape, they had a league just for that. Once a week they played. That was a contract I had got. Was still doing 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, what we have? 10 teams? Might have been more than 10 now I think about it, because it was like 5 or 6 games a day. And it wasn't just me. It was like 4 or 5 courts going. So that's how many that's how many teams we had. This was like every Saturday, every Sunday. We used 3 different gyms because one gym had 2 courts, the other gym had 1 court. So yeah, probably 3 courts. Yeah. So, just for football players. Like when I refed in North Carolina in 2000, I ran into a dude because I'm in Greensboro, and I ran into a dude that went to A&T. And they was telling him, yeah, one of our guys at A&T, he saw him, he's like, man, let's talk. And we knew some of the same people, even though we didn't go to school together. I think he was slightly older than me, but we knew some of the same people, just because we went to A&T together. And I mean, just, when you go to pros, just all the people you meet, the coaches, the trainers. I mean, you are exposed to so many people. Like I've told the story before. I used to have to wrap these 2 fingers because I broke this one. Well, I broke both of them, but I broke this one the worst. And then I used to have to, I got pictures of me catching. I taped these 2 fingers together. And then I had a trainer one day, he saw me doing it and he was like, you know what? I think I can help you. I'm going to make something better for you. And then he made individual, like little splints, I guess you could call it. But it was like he took some, not really. Yeah, pro wrap. He took some pro wrap, but he put something under the pro wrap. So he made some little, the little light wrap. So that's how he started. He made the little light spongy wrap, and then he reinforced it with pro wrap. And so what I did, instead of having to tie these fingers together, he put things I could just slip on the individual fingers. So I just really needed it for the 3. So he invented some little things for me where all I had to do is slip it on my finger and tape over each finger. And now his name is Phil. Is it Phil Foster? Phil Foster. And now my trainer, and I mentioned this dude before, my trainer, he invented training for pit crews. He was the first dude to go to a race team and say, look, I have a surefire way to make your guys more efficient if we do these exercises leading up to your races. He invented this. Yeah, I think it's Phil Foster. I know his cousin I work with, Preston, was Foster. I think Phil Foster, I think is his name. And he invented that. So now all the race teams do it. All the race teams work their people out. And also what he did is he has a school where he trains mostly people from HBCUs. I know his son, who was his son with? His son won one of the big races. I think one of the championship. I think his son was on the team. So you see brothers in NASCAR, they went to Phil's school. If you see brothers, you look at the pit crews and you see brothers in the pit crews, that comes from Phil. And I'm friends with him on Facebook. But I went back with him, where I mentioned that. He's like, damn, I forgot all about that. I DM'd him one time. He's like, man, I forgot all about that. You still remember that? I was like, yeah, I was impressed. You went out your way to solve one of my problems. Because it ain't easy catching like this. It ain't easy catching like that with your fingers not together. Not impossible, but it's you get used to it, but it's more efficient to have use of all your fingers instead of having them all tied up. And you see old players like watch some 60s, motherfuckers' hands is all tied up. That to tape your fingers together is very common in football. So. Oh, and quantum of science. Okay, going back to sports, quantum of science talking about we're idiots because we think the players are in on it. Players are definitely in on it, buddy. As I've stated before, I've been breaking down film since 1977 when I was a sophomore. And I started breaking down black and white film, seeing schemes. And so, when I watch games, I try to look at what cover 2, cover 0. I try to look at what coverage the defense is in, what kind of offensive front, what they're attacking it, the formations. Because that's one thing that ain't really, the verbiage has changed, but all the formations you see all the formations has always been around. Like the shotgun offense was really invented in the 60s. It was a dude named Billy Kilmer that played with San Francisco where they had a couple good quarterbacks. But he's the one, the dude from the 49ers in the 60s invented the shotgun. The Cowboys with Roger Staubach made it famous and made everybody do it. But that offense wasn't new. It was created in the 60s, the shotgun offense with Billy Kilmer. I can't think of the other 49ers that played. I don't know if John Brody, because Kilmer could run the ball too. But it was nothing but really a single wing offense that they had ran. I mean, really, if you look at the 20s and 30s before they started running the full T formation, the T formation is the backs behind you. And you look at what the pro set would be with the split backs. That's what's considered a pro set offense. But the T formation is the quarterback under center and two backs right behind him. And that's what college and high school generally ran, I formation, unless you ran the option. If you just ran the old wishbone offense, you got three backs. So, that's really a T. You got the, three backs, wishbone offense. And then that turned into, running the veer, where you had the two backs, but you put the flanker on one side, then you'd have the receiver on the other side. And then you're running the same type of option, but you're not using the third back as the option guy. You're using just the two backs and the fakes and the read the quarterback if you cut up. So the formations ain't really changed. Now, has the defense been more creative? Yeah, because you have a zone blitz, you have run zones that they get. You had some coaches, and I can't think of what it's called, where they drop the defensive tackles. We started seeing that about 10 years ago, where they dropped the tackles back. They're thinking the tackle is, because tackle, every play is rushing. You see sometimes they was dropping the tackles. And I think about 10 years ago they started doing that. I forget what they call that at this moment. I'm old manning. So the formations are nothing new. The verbiage has changed. Even the pass trees have changed, but not really. Not really. Because my pass tree, it had, like, the way they taught us is like they gave us a tree of all the possible routes off the tree. And it's the same routes. Routes ain't changed. Like I showed a replay of the dude running a curl, he was really running across, but he ran back to meet the ball. So he broke off his pattern and ran back to the quarterback. So he was running a crossing pattern, but he saw the quarterback in trouble. So he ran towards the ball. So he turned his crossing into a curl. And like I showed a play earlier of a slant, dig, they call it, what do they call it? The wide receiver screen was nothing really but a dig. But the dig would be more on the line where you just really open up. You take maybe a couple steps and you open up. Now, what did they call that now where they put the people in twins, and then you throw it to the backs? Or we saw trips, as we saw in the Redskins game. Run trips, and throw the wide receiver screen, basically. Bubble screen, that's what they call it, the bubble screen. The bubble screen. But, the plays ain't really changed on offense. It's pretty much the same concepts. And like blocking, like, it was so unfair for a long time. Blocking was unfair. It was advantage to defense. I mean, when Deacon Jones played, you could slap the shit out of somebody in the head. I used to do that little boy football. I'd be fucking people up because it was legal. Even up to college, you could still slap people in the head. When I was in high school, you could still come and rush a person and slap him upside the head. That was still legal when I was in high school. It was still legal when I was in college. And you slap a motherfucker in the head in your hand and you hit them just right, their head be ringing and shit. That's the old rules. You can't do that. But it's like you used to have to block. I got a picture. I should look on Pinterest. I got a picture. They used to make them block like this. Literally, they had to, if they did anything but this, it was holding. This was such a disadvantage. Not only could the defender slap you upside the head, he could swim move you. He could use his hands on you. Couldn't hold. You never could have been able to hold, not even on defense. You can't hold, but he's got the advantage because he's smacking you with his hands. And then what they did is they let you lock out. That's what they changed it to. They went from this to you could kind of lock your arms. That's how it evolved. They was like, oh, this ain't fair. So they started letting you could, long as you didn't hold, you could lock your arms. And then later what it turned in is you could punch people. You could like double punch now. Watch, because you can punch. Can't hold, but you can punch. And you definitely could hear And they let the hands go a little wider. If you pushing, you know, they'll let you go a little wide long as you ain't holding. So it's fair. But it used to be a complete advantage to the defense. And people still had success against those kind of things. It wasn't like they didn't have success. They still did. Even blocking like this. Like y'all seen the electric football where the dude is like this? Y'all seen electric football? Let's see. Where am I at? Oh, here we go. Here we go. See if I can get a close up of this shit. Maybe. Okay. See if they got the lineman. This shit's popular again. Okay, here we go. This back line. See how they blocking? Can y'all see that? Let's see if I can make it bigger. Yeah, here we go. You see how they're blocking? That's how you used to have to block in the games. And these are the running backs. These are the safeties and linebackers, which I never understood. What the fuck are they doing? But yeah, this is the exact pose of what was legal blocking. And they taught this in every level, that you had to block with your arms up high like this. That was the old way of blocking. This shit is really more popular. And now they got the boards. Let me see if there's one with a board. And I guess they had this in the 80s. I didn't really realize this. Let's see if I can go back. But they got these fields. They got one where you have magnets under here. And so you get a magnet and the person you're playing against has a magnet and you can control one player. They ain't had that shit when I was little. But I would play this shit for hours. I had the Bears back with Gale Sayers. I think I had the Bears and the Lions. And then as I got older, we would have painting parties. We'd order the blanks and we'd all get together and paint. You know, we'd paint. Like we had maybe have 3 or 4 teams each. And like instead of one person, you know, we would all just rotate on, you know, painting all of them. And we would help each other and we, you know, do a bunch of teams and shit. But the quarterback didn't make no sense. Where's the quarterback? But see, this is how you keep time. But the new boards actually have a magnet under here where you can like I'm on offense, I can control one guy. You on defense, you can control. That's how it evolved. So that's, you know, and they're becoming big. As you see, this one was $150. And there was like a lot of different ones. There were like people that, I don't know, it's like, how can I describe this football game? It was a sheet like a plastic. It was a sheet of plastic. And the men were really big. Like the men, like, you know, electric football, they like this. The men were like this big. And you kind of rolled them at each other. I like my friend came, he was like, yeah, I got this new football game. And he bust that plastic out with the men. And it's like you had to put it on a smooth surface so they didn't roll that good. And I'm looking at this shit and these men are huge. And this plastic thing ain't but maybe this long. And if I showed before, my funnest game was, it was a game, and I think I found it on Pinterest before, but you had little disc. And so you had a little disc and you could put the disc, like the disc was, and this was fun, some of the early AI stuff from the 70s, because I would put in my offensive disc and the computer would have, you know, equal to it on defense. Or the same way, I would play defense against the computer, and the computer already was programmed what to do in that situation. So the play that always got touchdowns was triple reverse. The machine, for some reason, couldn't deal with the triple reverse. You'd put like you be playing and it's close and it's stopping you, and you throw in the triple reverse. It seemed to beat the machine every time. Like the machine couldn't adjust to the triple reverse. But what it helped me do is it helped me call plays. Because as little boy football, I call plays. You know, you call your own plays. They taught me the plays. I call my own plays. I played quarterback up until really 10th grade. When I destroyed this finger, I couldn't throw anymore. It affected, like, you know, I'm trying to throw a football. And I'm like, I did play quarterback like months after surgery. And I'm really throwing with these fingers. Because if this finger had anything to do with it, it'd make the ball wobble. So I learned how to really throw with a football like this, with just 3 fingers, 3 fingers and my thumb. That's how I would throw the ball. So, I wasn't effective. It wasn't until I got in college I could really throw again. I had like surgery in May or June, and here I am, it's like September, early September. They're asking me to, throw a ball. And, my finger just hadn't healed enough. So, but I threw good enough, but and that's the other part of sports is injuries, and that's, it's, and I think if you ask any athlete, was it worth it? And they'll pretty much tell you it was, like I can't really walk barefooted. I can't tell you how many times I sprained my ankle. I was just counting my surgery. I've had like 8 or 9 surgeries, and all basically from sports. I say the carpal tunnel. I don't know, because like my hands got so beat up catching, as I say, it was days I caught, every day catch 1,000 passes, catching basketballs, spraining fingers. I've had surgery on both of my knees. I've had surgery on my wrist. I've had surgery on both wrists, both hands. So surgery, I've been, when I broke this finger in 8th grade. Yeah, I broke this finger in the end of 8th grade. I broke this finger. So that's part of it. Part of it is injuries. No way to get around it. But the good part is recovery. Sports teaches you recovery, how to help. It makes you almost like a minor trainer, because you have so much of getting therapy and stuff that you learn how to give yourself therapy. Like I got an ultrasound, I got a TENS unit. I've got like liquid aspirin. You know what that shit? I can't think of what that shit's called, but I've got liquid aspirin. It's aspirin that you rub on your skin, and it gives you the same effect as if you took the aspirin. Mono something. So that's an aspect too. When your children sprain their ankles and stuff, you know what to do. Like I remember my 29-year-old son, the first time he got hurt, it's like I helped him and got all that swelling out and stuff. And he's like, he looked at me different, like, oh, you really got me better. Like, yeah, motherfucker, I kind of know a little bit. That's all. And, like sports is definitely a thing where you work together. It's like one thing I picked up, I've been hearing like a lot of young brothers and sisters call each other twins. Well, if you listen to my intro, I say, sports was created by the Hero Twins. That's the oldest American stories of competitive games comes from the American Twins. The Hero Twins. And so when I hear young brothers and sisters call each other twin, that's what that goes back to. That's where that comes from. That's an American thing. Now, I know you hear young brothers and sisters, they don't know anything about it, but that's the energy they're bringing back. And it's not the Cain and Abel. You don't need to murder your brother because you're jealous of him. No, you do everything to achieve with your brother. And I've told the story many times, the gods cut one of the Hero Twins' heads off. His brother put a pumpkin on his head and like, let's go get these motherfuckers. Like, this ain't going to stop us from killing these gods. So buckle your shit up, use that pumpkin, or cut the eyes off, and let's go get them. Matter of fact, he didn't even cut the eyes off. He just put the pumpkin on his head, like, let's go get these motherfuckers. Again, it's in the Pop Evolve if you're interested in the story. But that's where, the idea of calling someone twin comes from. And, the Europeans teach you the Cain and Abel. You hate your brother. We in America, we talk about you support your brother. And you fight gods with your brother. You face it with your brother. And so even though, the young brothers and sisters, they don't mean that, but that's powerful to me. Because of where it really comes from. So what time is it? Because I know I've been blabbing for a long time. Oh shit, I've really been blabbing. Well, I guess I'm going to call it. Shit, the game comes on at 12. Probably 2. Probably because a lot of times your computer kind of gives you the time where you live. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm still going with the Bills and the Eagles winning. And I think if it's an upset, I really think more Bills than Eagles. I feel that the Eagles are very strong. But I do like, everything he said tonight. I think that magic connection is huge. That is really huge. I did not look at that before breaking it down. Yeah, that's huge. The magic connection, magic never losing, that is huge. That is real huge. And so could very well be the Chiefs. It could very well be the Chiefs against the Bills, or the Chiefs against the Commanders, or the Bills against the Commanders. Again, you know, you look at the Bills going from Redskins to the Commanders. I mean, if you see what that's trying to say, who's the Commanders? So, and I think I'll close like this. It's funny when we looked at the election and stuff. One thing my wife and I both said is, whoever got in there, it was going to be tough times. And it's playing out. Whoever got in there, it was going to change. Now, right now, it's like right now, it makes you think that one side wants what's going on. That's how they're playing. But that ain't what it is, y'all. All of them mugs wanted what's going on and what they're trying to achieve. All of them wanted that. All these politicians, under the guise of we're the good guys and they're the bad guys, all of them wanted this change. Because the country is changing. And Biden didn't change it. The country is changing. See, George Floyd scared the fuck out of them. George Floyd scared the fuck out of these people. Because if I've said many times before, we had the Super Bowl here and we had the Final Four at the same time. And that was when Homeland Security and, I mean, it was an army of cops here. It was an army of cops here. Homeland Security, state people. It was an army. When I went, the Super Bowl, army of police. You go downtown to go to the Super Bowl, you know, the stuff leading up to the Super Bowl, army of police. When I went to the Final Four exhibition stuff, army of police. And then we had something else here. It was still an army of police here. And then Floyd came. That army of police wasn't effective at all. It was so ineffective where they burned the police department down and chased all the cops basically out. And you know who basically did it? It was teenagers. Majority of these people were young people that went to the streets and started burning down shit. And history shows that's one thing they could never stop us from doing. I mean, hell, they just burned down California. There's no stopping that. If they want your land, they could burn you out easy. But the same thing for the people. They could never stop the people from burning shit down. They could never stop it. I mean, they really would have to declare martial law and people got to check in and check out. But up to that point, the people would have the power. And once you start destroying property, that's all they really care about. If you start destroying something that's fucking with their pockets, that's all they care about. And so that's why you see a lot of why they want what it is now. They didn't like that. The powers that play have never been more scared of the people than they are now. That's why they fenced it all off. And then, you know, they say a bunch of people got pardoned, but we know that it was riddled with FBI informants. So did you put any of them in prison? Did they need pardons too? Full of FBI informants. Yeah, there's pictures where the security guards letting these motherfuckers come up in there. So to say all those people had an agenda and they all deserve to go to prison, come on now. Come on now. You know who them FBI people work for. But this is the other thing that you know people have to realize. It's a book. It was a massacre in Wilmington, North Carolina. I think it was 1898. And what we had at the time was Republicans was all black folks. And they had what was called Republicans and progressives. They all started working, or futurists, I think they were called, futurists, Republicans and futurists. And brothers, you know, because of Lincoln was Republicans. The Southerners was the Democrats. And what the Democrats did is, if you look at a battle that happened in 1875 in South Carolina, it was called the Red Shirts. You can look that up, the Red Shirts. They did a massacre down in South Carolina and overthrew and pretty much, you know, secured Jim Crow. Well, the same thing happened in Wilmington, but worse. You know, they massacred basically unarmed people and overthrew elected government, and the feds didn't do anything about it. And, you know, they pretty much got the people that were called poor white trash to do the killing. They got the poor to do the killing. And soon as they took power, matter of fact, soon as they took power, they used the military and they told all the killers that if they didn't go home, they was going to start arresting them. So it wasn't no looting and none of that shit. They was like, we don't need you motherfuckers no more. We've got power. We needed you to get in power, but now we're in power. We don't need you anymore. Matter of fact, if you don't get the fuck up out of here, we're going to arrest you. That's how quick they turned on the poor that did their killing for them. So that's what they're counting on. They're counting on riling up the poor, making the poor upset so the poor can kill for them. Because it's never the rich, never the elites. The elites don't do the killing. The elites want to be the generals that send the people get killed. So that's why they want to rile up a certain part of society. Because they want to make sure they have enough killers if something did happen. And there's no doubt, I mean, it's funny, you see a lot of brothers bragging on guns and stuff, but I mean, right now we still are outgunned. But we're not necessarily outpeopled anymore. That's the difference. We're not outpeopled. So that's the lie of saying they're Mexicans and they're this, they're that. There's more melanated people in America than Europeans. And that's what they're, you know, fearful of. On the other thing to consider too, business-wise, you know, the produce people are going to suffer. I mean, obviously why brothers and sisters didn't want to work in them fields, that became obvious. And the sharecropping, the way we were mistreated during sharecropping made us not want to do that work. And we know European people don't want to do that work. And right now it's prime picking season in some of the warmer parts of the country. They were showing a place where it was usually hundreds of workers, you know, where people could work for the day. They said like none of them showed up. They got these people running so scary. Because they did, you know, a lot of people that came from South America, Mexico did do the work the brothers and sisters and Europeans wasn't going to do no more. So like I said, when they busted the unions in Michigan, the people that would be sharecroppers that would go from area to area, they stayed. And they was like, they went into the factories. When the factories went from paying $15 to $20 an hour and then went down to paying $5 an hour, a lot of brothers and sisters said, we know what this job should pay. We're not going to pay it. And you're trying to make me go through a temp agency? Well, a lot of Hispanics and South Americans like, hey, we'll take them jobs. You giving us $5 an hour? Gravy. We coming up in there. And they started taking over a lot of supplier part jobs because they would do it. I mean, like up in northern Minnesota, there's like almost full Mexican South American towns because they do a lot of the dairy work. Like, you know, the Wisconsin's dairy. Well, Minnesota's dairy too, especially northern Minnesota. Because people don't want to, you know, them cows, motherfucker, I don't know if you ever watched what they do for them cows. That's an early morning kind of thing. It's hard work. Slaughterhouses are hard work. Hard, nasty work. And a lot of brothers and sisters don't want to do that kind of work. I told, you know, I was doing forklift at a slaughterhouse. And I watched one dude, him and this other good dude, all they did is slit throats all day. They had some dudes that would knock the cows out or, you know, hit them and kind of knock them out. And then they hang them up backwards. And then all they do is slit throats. I don't know if they got a machine for that now. And then the dudes who cut off the legs, you know, was like in Mad Max kind of look. These niggas was chained to the wall with these giant ass saws. Chained to the wall. And they got these giant ass Mad Max Thunderdome looking saws and shit. And they just cutting hindquarters off. But again, you know, brothers and sisters didn't want to do that kind of work. And if they did that kind of work, they'd be supervisors or something where they ain't got to do the work. So, you know, the price of eggs already went up today considerably. We don't eat a lot of eggs. And plus, my wife disagrees. I think the eggs last forever. I'm like, I ain't never got sick on keeping eggs forever. Matter of fact, when I was a child, we didn't even put the eggs in the refrigerator. When I was a child, the eggs stayed out. Because, you know, when they lay them, they ain't refrigerated. Again, back then, I can't say, you know, people ate the food. It didn't really sit. Like now, we can buy so much food where, some shit might just sit. We just threw a bunch of food, pounds of food away because the shit was old. So, the country's going to be affected. We think we're inflation now. If them fields and that shit goes to rot and ain't nobody out there picking that shit's going to go up in price. The shit that's made in America, of course, So don't be fooled by thinking one side wants it this way. All of them want it this way. All of them want it this way. They want to put a face in front of it to say, hey, it ain't us. But all of them want this. They'll go and play games on TV and say, oh, we're so against. No, they all want this. All of them. No matter who went in office, all of them want it the way things are turning. All of them. That's why they put them fences up in D.C. Because people, if things continue, it's a natural reaction for people to go into the streets. It's natural. Marching is natural. Now, you're going to just shoot innocent people? Again, if the behavior of Floyd, they might, they've just passed laws. Biden just passed laws to say it's okay to shoot American people. It was law in the books for a long time, so it wasn't legal. For the feds, especially. The feds, I mean, not simple crimes like marching. You really couldn't just shoot people. But that's the guys now is they know people are going to rebel. That's natural. I mean, I came from Vietnam where the students took over the campuses because they was the ones that's getting sent over there. Their age group was getting sent over there, so they had it. They took over the campuses. And then if you look up Kent State, that was a fake thing to make you think that they're going to go to every campus and shoot you. That was a fake. That was a psyop. If you look up Kent State. Now, where they did kill students, they killed one student in North Carolina and they killed students in South Carolina. That's real. But Kent State was the psyop to scare all the college students to quit protesting and quit tearing up the colleges. But that was a psyop. To give a message to the rest of the colleges, this is what's going to happen to you. So, but yeah, y'all, I think I'm going to call it tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll give a short divination. Oh, my insert didn't even burn. Look at that shit. That shit didn't even burn. It went right out. Oh, well. That's all right, too. I don't know what the fuck happened to that. So as you look at all these changing events, understand that, it's not one-sided. It's not one-sided. It's the whole, all of them want it. They're going to blame one side, but it's all of them. And so it's times are definitely changing and you got to change with the times. And really know the real enemy, know the real threat. Because time and time again, they try to manipulate the poor to do their bidding. And that's who's got to be reached. Again, like if it's not a common problem or it's not everyone's problem, people won't rebel. They'll go along with it. I mean, look at all the Nazis that, the German people that went along with the Nazis. That's what they count on. They count on everybody being in it for it to work. But there are, there's people from all around, all different, that look at things and say, well, maybe we can still fight the power, as they say. So there's always, I'm going to say this, think strategically as well. I mean, if there's ever a time where people have to be strategic, it's really coming. You really have to be strategic. And I mean, they show what the people did. I mean, the dude just took down a healthcare person. And the people looked at him as a hero. So how do you think the elites feel about that? An elite got killed and the working class said, we think he's a hero. You don't think that scares the elites? That it was that easy to touch a person that became an elite, that he was touched that easy. That put him all on. And you know, you read the guy's bio, he could have had personal security. But that, you know, again, it shouldn't be rich against the poor, but a lot of times that's what it's turned into in a way. Because that rich was doing wrong to poor people or struggling people. Not to say I glorify killing, I don't. But I'm saying that guy is looked at as a hero to most people. And remember, the people are larger than the government. The government should be afraid of the people. But for the government, you know, to carry out its orders, it always uses the poor. It always uses the poor to do their bidding. And then once they get what they want, they care less about any of them. I mean, to think that, you know, and that's the trick. When they came up with the whiteness, instead of, you know, just being European, what country you was from. You was European and you was European from certain countries. They said, well, let's just call it all white. So we can take all this mix of people and be a common people. And then we can say this common people are favored. They have a favored status. And it wasn't always like that. I mean, if you look at like when the Seminoles came and when they went down in Florida, how those people worked together. The Indian tribes and, you know, how they had fought the Spanish. They was able to go to Florida. Florida was a separate country technically till Andrew Jackson illegally went in there, which was very illegal. And then they put him on a $20 bill and he was a legal occupier. He attacked the country without congressional approval. But anyway, people of all races and creeds was able to get together and be Seminoles. And really, if you look at the Seminole War, I mean, John Horse never got defeated. John Horse fought these motherfuckers all the way to Texas. And when he was so cool and such a good fighter, they when he went into Texas and fought with the Mexicans against these Americans, he kicked ass. They made this nigga a colonel or a general. There's a town named after John Horse. And see, they don't want to tell you much about him. That he never lost to these motherfuckers. He fought them from Florida all across. All the way to Texas and Mexico. He fought these motherfuckers. And he's a person you probably, you know, never heard of. So there's precedence. So I say live strategically. Live without fear. Just think of every day. Be successful every day. Don't get stressed over what could be. Only deal with what is. What's happening at this moment. And make whatever you can out of that. All right, well. Thank you, everybody. Do I want to do a divination? I'll do an animal spirit divination. How about that? There's another one in here somewhere. So I'll just pick a card and I'll leave some animal spirit energy. Whichever one will come out. But dig it here a little better. Okay, that'll probably be good. There we go. Oh, one of my favorites, the crow. So I'm gonna give out crow energy. And you know, crows are very smart. Some crows can even talk, but they're very smart. They have their own language. I forget which one hangs together. One is solitude. I forget if it's the crow or the raven. But very intelligent animals. What's the number? Haha, it's trying to tell us something. 24. 24 in the crow. That makes sense. All right. Crow, are you crowing so I know the secrets of balance within my soul? Or are you sending your sacred claw just to remind me of universal laws? There's a medicine story that tells the crow's fascination with his own shadow. He kept looking at it, scratching, poking at it until his shadow woke up and became alive. Then the crow's shadow ate her. Crow is dead crow now. Dead crow is the left-handed guardian. If you look deeply into the crow's eyes, you have found the gateways to the supernatural. Crow knows the unknowable mysteries in creation, is the keeper of all the sacred law. Since Crow is the keeper of sacred law, Crow can bend the laws of the physical universe and shapeshift. The ability is rare and unique. Few adepts exist in today's world. Fewer still have mastered Crow's art of shape-shifting. This includes doubling or being in two places at one time, consciously taking on another physical form and becoming the fly on the wall to observe what is happening far away. The Europeans that came to Turtle Island were named the boat people by Slow Turtle. Even with the knowledge of alchemy possessed by certain boat people, none had ever seen the powerful shape-shifting of shamans who utilized crow medicine. Many boat people were frightened by what appeared to be animals coming into their camps or dwellings to discern their medicine. Crow meditation people are masters of illusion. All sacred texts are under the protection of the crow. Creator's Book of Laws or Book of Seals is bound in crow feathers. Crow features tell of the spirit made flesh. Crow is the protector of the or gala or ancient records. The sacred belts or wampum belts beaded by the native women long before the boat people or Europeans came to this country contain knowledge of great spirit laws and are kept in the Black Lodge, the lodges of the women, because the women were in charge most of the time. The law which states that all things are born of a woman is signified by the crow. Children are taught to behave according to the rules of a particular culture. Most orthodox religion systems create a mandate concerning acceptable behavior within the context of worldly affairs. Do this, and so you will go into heaven. Do thus, and so you will go to hell. Different formulas for salvation are demanded by each. True faith. Human law is not the same as sacred law. More so than any other medicine, Crow sees the physical world and even the spiritual world as humanity interprets them are an illusion. There are billions of worlds. There are infinite creatures. Great Spirit is with all of us. If the individual obeys Crow's perfect laws and are given by the Creator, then at death he or she dies a good medicine death, going on to the next incarnation or next going closer to source. Crow is an omen of change. Crow lives in the void and has no sense of time. The ancient chiefs tell us that Crow sees simultaneously the three fates, past, present, and future. Crow merges light and darkness, seeing both inner and outer. If Crow medicine appears, you must pause and reflect on how to see the laws of the Great Spirit in relation to the laws of humanity. Crow medicine signifies a first-hand knowledge of a higher order of self and wrong than that indicated by the laws created in human culture. With Crow medicine, you speak in a powerful voice and addressing issues that for you seem out of harmony or out of balance or out of whack or just unjust. Remember that the crow looks at the world with first one eye and then the other, cross-eyed. In Mayan culture, cross-eyed had the privilege of duty of looking into the future. You must put aside your fear of being a voice in the wilderness and call the shots as you see them. As you learn how to allow your personal integrity to your guide, your sense of feeling alone will vanish. Your personal will can merge so that you withstand your truth. The prime path of the Crow people says to be mindful of your opinions and actions. Be willing to walk your talk, speak your truth, know your life's mission, and balance past, present, and future in the now. Shape shift that old reality and become your future self. Allow the bending of physical laws to aid in creating the shape-shifted world of peace. And I think for the now times, that's it. And that, it means adapting, Like I said earlier, you have to have strategy now. You really have to, really have a strategy of what's happening and what's coming. That's why it's like I looked at some fights. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna make the fights now. I'm gonna wait when it's really time to make the fight. So as we're changing, I want you all to have that crow magic. Well, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And so definitely I'll be on breaking down film, and I'll probably get hit by the NFL again. I don't monetize any of my when I just talk. I only monetize the other stuff. When I talk, I said I give freely, so they can copyright law on it. I'm not trying to make any money. They're not stopping me from making money. So, thank you guys.